Good evening, guys. Welcome. Simon from Redline Motorsports. So tonight we have Laguna Seca 2-hour race. So yeah, it'll be myself tonight commentating along with Jesse. Hello, Jesse.
Hello, Simon. How are you guys?
Not too bad, mate. Apart from you have a bit of a coughing fit. So hopefully I should last the 2-hour race without coughing too much. And also we've got Fabian. Hello, Fabian.
Hello, Simon. Good evening.
Good evening. So yeah, how are you guys doing anyway?
Well, apart from preparing for that stream for around 1 hour and writing all the names down on a piece of paper and some facts about them, other than that, the day's been pretty fine for me.
Awesome stuff. So yeah, so guys, this is our 2-hour race. We've got 3 tiers running tonight. So we've got Pro that we're with, which broadcasting right now, which is a 2-hour race. We've got the Pro-Am race, which is not being broadcast. That's a 90-minute race. And we've got the Am tier, which is a 60-minute race. So yeah, everyone in the Pro tier today should have an SA of 85 or higher, so safety rating of 85 or higher. So hoping for a clean race. But we have got up to 50 cars on the grid. Just one word, I could be able to confirm that later on. But anyway, yeah, we had up to 50 drivers on the grid, so anything can happen for T1. This is Laguna Seca after all, when there's 50 cars on there, so yeah, it could be absolutely chaos in T1. Who knows? But it should be in for an interesting race anyway. So we've got just over 13 and a half minutes of practice left. We've got a 15 minutes to qualify, and then we've got a 120 minutes race. I will just point out as well, there is no mandatory pit stop, but obviously they will have to have a pit at some point, so it is open strategy to these guys whether they want to fuel save and then try and pit later on, or whether they just do a 50-50 split, and it's entirely up to them. So yeah, thanks for the follow there, guys, really appreciate that. So yeah, Abby and Jesse, what are you thinking tonight? Have you got any sort of favourites at the moment during this practice session?
If you want to start, Jesse?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and put me on the plank early. You know, it's just too early here in free practice for me to pick anybody in particular, but I wouldn't take my eyes off Elvin Smith. I don't know why, but he just seems so fast right now that he's my early pick. But guys, if you wouldn't mind asking me in about 2.5 hours, I could probably have a better idea of who's going to win this race.
Yeah, won't we all? Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So at the moment, from looking at the practices, we have been seeing guys in the 1-minute 21s. So yeah, some really crazy fast times here. And if you look at the board at the moment, currently all the way down to almost P14, there's only 1 second between them at the moment. So again, this is only free practice at the moment. I mean, when it comes to qualifying, this is where it's going to get really interesting. We have seen this before in our Season 2 championship, where we've had even up to the top 20 guys within 1 second of each other. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting race for sure. So yeah, what about you then, Fabian? What are you thinking then for tonight? Who you got your money on?
Well, as Mike Noble registered for that race, I will put my money on him, as he is one of the fastest guys in ACC, which he also showed us with winning the 2 hours of Bathurst race. And he also won the Solda 3-hour race with his teammate Andre Franke. So in my opinion, he will be the one. He will be the one that will be the most favorite for this race.
Yeah, no, interesting. That's better. Yeah, no, exactly. This is also interesting as well, because our guy James Parker, who's currently just leaving the pits at the moment, he's usually a Mercedes man, and he's decided to go for the BMW today. Same with Vicky as well. Thomas, who's obviously Redline Motorsport sports driver as well. So we've got two of our people in the BMW, which is going to be very interesting. So there's probably only 2 BMWs actually on the I believe, in this last week.
Yeah, I guess. Well, most of the drivers are scared of the BMW, as we've already seen in Season 1 and Season 2 of our ACC leagues. It isn't the most competitive car, and it's also quite hard to set it up right for each track. But it looks like, at least from the reports of a few drivers like James Parker, that the BMW is a very strong car around Laguna Seca.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, yeah, he's holding P3 at the moment. It's only less than 500ths of a second off of the pace at the moment for P1. So, again, like I said, this is only free practice at the moment. I don't even think, is it actually optimal conditions at the moment?
Yes.
It is, so yeah, so it's 24 degrees is the actual ambient temp at the moment. So, yeah, so the race is going to start at 5 p.m. There's 2 times progression, so the race should finish about 9 p.m. So we should have a nice sunset here in California in a second.
Yeah, gentlemen, and as we get down to the final 10 minutes here in practice, the nerves, don't you think, they start to go up a little bit? You're running out of practice time. And by the way, I don't know if you guys have noticed at home, but we've certainly noticed in the booth, there's nowhere around this track to get a spare lane to run just a quick lap by yourself. There's cars everywhere around here. How many cars are we actually looking at tonight, guys?
Oh, 1 second.
Currently,
decibels. 1 second, guys. I just feel there's our volumes there. So yeah, just guys, just let us know in chat if these are any better. But yeah, guys, you keep talking a second, just so the guys in
yeah, sure.
can obviously pick up on us.
So currently we've got 42 drivers, but actually we've got 50 drivers registered for that race. So there should have been a few more drivers to join still.
There we go. Right.
So
yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Just just in chat quickly, guys. Just let us know if that's actually better regarding the car noise, because I was playing with ACC earlier and I probably forgot to change the settings there. So yeah, just let us know. You can obviously hear us clearly and we're not too overrun by the game or the sim actually. So my voice needs increasing, Mr. Get. Right, okay. I don't know, every time I load OBS, there always seems to be a problem somewhere that something just doesn't want to work. Every time, without doubt.
I can so much relate to this.
Yeah, that's it. It's just, wow.
Last time I think I even forgot to activate Ryan's voice, so the viewers couldn't hear him talk for around 5 minutes. But he talked a lot in that time, so that was a shame.
Yeah, that is the beauty of live picture and sound, isn't it? That there's always something in the process that you forget to do, or maybe you haven't quite got right. And I swear to goodness, my OBS, it changes its settings in the night. There might be some gremlins in there because it's never where I left it, and it's never perfect like it was the stream before. So that's just the beauty of live TV, isn't it, boys?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like I was saying, it's that's interesting. Got a new device here. Yeah, because obviously when I launched OBS, literally about 10 minutes before the stream went live, I had a download, so maybe that's probably affected it. But anyway, we're trying to get this fixed for you. So actually, that might be the reason, because it looks like. Just let us know if that's better, guys. Because I've realised my mic was actually down by 20% when it shouldn't have been. So just make sure that the volumes are nice. You hear the cars fine and hear us loud and clearly over the cars. So just wait for the chat to catch up. I think YouTube's a little bit slower than Twitch regarding the stream. So yeah, so anyway, we'll just have a quick look at the timings boards while we've still got just over 5 minutes 44 seconds of the practice left. So as at the moment, again, we're still in the 121.6. I mean, between P1 and 2 at the moment, there's literally just under 300ths of a second between these two guys. So yeah, absolutely crazy. So right, thanks for that, Mr. Git. Appreciate your obviously your help there. So at least we got that sorted. So yeah, Fabian, Jesse, if you guys just want to talk as well to make sure that all our volumes are perfect now regarding our stream, that'd be much appreciated, guys.
Yeah, sure. So I want to take the initiative and talk a little bit about our current P2, as that is Philippe Simard, and I know that guy from the Assetto Corsa Racing League from Reddit. So this is a championship being run from Reddit for Assetto Corsa, the original game. And actually, he was one of the fastest drivers there. I think he won several championships there, and so that will be very interesting how he will do today with all the very, very fast drivers today around him.
No, that would be interesting. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I'd say, looking at the time board now, we're now down to almost P18 with only 1 second between all these guys. I mean, this is getting really interesting now. So currently at the moment we've only got 42 cars in. We did have 49 signed up for this race anyway, for this one. So I don't know if there's issues regarding people being able to get in or not. But as I said, when people were supposed to sign up, that the safety rating was set to 85 plus, so everyone had to have a minimum of 85 safety rating to join this race, just so it obviously ends up being a half decent race at least. So,
guys, I have to say, sorry to jump in, but
of course, yeah.
T6 down here, that's the hard left-hander as you go up the hill to get to the corkscrew. I've seen so many unsettled cars that go into that corner, and I don't know if they're de-wedging the car or they're doing something that's upsetting them, and they're just going head on into the wall. And that's something that I've been paying attention to this whole session, and I think you guys at home should pay attention to as well throughout this race, because if these cars are on a knife's edge like they look like they are, you're going to see a lot of involuntary trips to pit lane.
Absolutely, yeah. So just stay with Elvin Smith for the minute, who's currently P1 as he's coming around to that corner. He's just got 2 more corners to go. Or 3 corners actually. Where's this one? Yeah, we'll see what's going on here. But yeah, unfortunately, we have got that sausage curve just on the inside, which is really obviously unsettling the car. So everyone's trying to cut that part of the course just to try and get that speed uphill. Can keep that momentum going. So yeah, we'll just see how he does here at the moment. So didn't even come anywhere close to the inside curve there. So he had a fine run through that. But yeah, no, we have obviously seen, like you said, a few people taking that corner and just hitting that sausage curb, and obviously that just said unsettles the car, throws them straight off into the gravel, and like I said, even into the wall. So anyway, yeah, thanks for the follow there, guys. Really appreciate it. We are streaming to both Twitch and YouTube today. So if you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, please. It'd be much appreciated. And if you're obviously following us on Twitch, don't forget to hit that follow button. And also, if you're an Amazon Prime user, you can obviously subscribe to us for free, and obviously that helps to pay towards our server costs and things like that. So much appreciated. Thank you. So yeah, hopefully we should be in for a pretty interesting race. We're just under less than 2 minutes now for a free practice. So we've got 15 minutes qualify. This is where everyone probably wants to get out as early as possible to hopefully be able to get their the qualifying lap in on time. Without the track obviously being too busy, especially with currently 42 cars on the grid at the moment. We might get a few more. We'll see what happens during qualifying. Might still have people just decide to jump in last minute. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But still, 42 cars for the grid is still pretty going to be pretty interesting for Laguna Seca.
And what's also special about this track is that it seems to be having less grip than all the other tracks in ACC, because there is so much sand around the track, not like in other tracks where you have either asphalt or grass on the sides of the road. So the sand gets blown on the road with the wind, and this makes it very, very tricky, and you won't have that much grip compared to other tracks, which you will see as the cars are not that planted today.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll see, we're starting to get a bit of a sunset now through the practice. So we're definitely going to get some nighttime racing a bit later on. So that is a times 2 progression As we just saw the Porsche, oh my god, P4 there, obviously taking a bit too much of the sausage curb there and really unsettled the Porsche. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting with these guys trying to keep these cars on the track. So see who's going to be full victim of the corkscrew today. So at the moment, there's quite a few people in the pits now as it is coming to the end of practice. So there we are, just got 4 minutes of overtime now before we start the qualifying. So our guy Samir again, he's usually a Porsche man, so it's quite interesting to see him in a Lamborghini today. So currently P18. So yeah, interesting choice of cars. So yeah, it's quite surprising to see our esports drivers decide to pick completely random cars today, completely different to what they normally sort of race with. So I said, Samir's usually a Porsche man, Vicky's normally a BMW girl, she's in the pits as well, obviously all doubled up at the moment, because we are, as I said, over 40 odd cars at the moment on the grid. So I've got Tom Potteridge here from Open Visor Racing, he's taking part today. So he's in the Honda, so this has been interesting as well, because we did our BOP the other day of the new tracks and stuff, which we posted on the ACC forums, and the Honda NSX was actually at the top there for its pace at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see if this car gets nerfed later on with how it's performing, because it was pretty much untouchable at Bathurst.
I think it has already been nerfed a little bit, at Bathurst at least.
Oh, I've had this problem before with... there we go. I think we fixed it. So, who is currently out at the moment? We'll just jump on board. There we go. So, a nice train of people out already to try and get their hot laps in as quickly as possible before it gets absolutely rammed on the track. So, these vital seconds will really count.
The first one that is currently out is car number 22, Reich Strelo.
Yeah, in my opinion, he's the only smart one in this group, because everybody says that, don't they? It's the race driver mentality. Oh, I got to get out there and set my lap while the track's calm. And 25 drivers just pulled out in a single line. You may as well be in gridlock on the M2. It doesn't matter. Like, I would have been the one guy sitting in the back like, suckers. And I would have waited a minute before I took off. But everybody has a mentality, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the race driver mentality and the race driver coming out in these guys.
Absolutely,
well,
yeah. I think there'll be a lot of people probably wait until near the end of the qualifying to quickly get out their laps. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I said we had some awesome pace in the practice there, didn't we? So that's nearly up to P20 at that point, nearly 1 second between P20 and P1. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here, what materializes.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, this might have been a very logic conclusion that you got, but looking at the pit lane right now, there are 6 cars that waited 1 minute and are now coming off altogether. So maybe that wasn't the best tactic, as everyone chose that one.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. So we'll stay with Ray Strelo for a minute, see how he gets on. Jump over to our dual camera.
I can tell you something else, Simon, that just happened that's actually quite fantastic. A lot of people got to the penultimate corner and slammed on the brakes on the inside line, letting people go by as if it was a Formula One style race. Everybody trying to find their little piece of paradise. So, hey, that I didn't think we'd see that, but here we are. We have that strategy in play.
That's it, yeah. So there we are, yeah. So we'll stay with Ray Strelo for a minute, see how he gets on here, as he is just coming down to the corkscrew right now. So we've got some awesome cameras there from the two.
Yeah, good evening to the guys in the chat. Hope you enjoy that one. That will be a long race. Well, I can already say that we are almost used to 2-hour races now. But it will still be very long.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, thanks for your words there, guys. Really appreciate it. So Yeah, we have absolutely grown absolutely massive. So like you say, so it looks like Steve Strader's the first to set a lap there with a 122.5, with Jack taking the second, and he's now at the P4 now actually. So
That's actually Reich Strelo that you are talking
race.
about.
That's the problem with having the brothers here.
Yeah, it is.
So I do apologise, guys. Yeah, so there is actually two Straders. I don't know if we're actually both racing today. Actually, both Straders, are they? I don't think they are. So it is only Ray Strader today, not Steve Strader here. So I do apologise.
Yeah, Steve is not here today.
So there we go. Yeah. So currently Mike Noble is taking P1 at the moment, 121.849. So with Jardio taking P2 at the moment, just 5 tenths off the pace at the moment. So this is where it's going to get really heated up at the moment. So we'll stay with Samir to see if he can improve his time.
Yeah, and someone in the chat pointing out that Klaus in car 649 is the one that was leading yesterday's race, which was just a test race. So not too much racing going on there, because testing the team features was the main thing to do yesterday. But well, he led 10 laps yesterday, so maybe we'll see a good performance from him too.
Absolutely, yeah. So doesn't look like Samir. He did manage to get to P2 now, so Samir did actually get a good lap there. So I'm taking him with a 122, almost better, 122 dead, but still just over 3 tenths slower on the pace of Mike Noble at the moment. So awesome racing there from an awesome lap there from Samir at the moment. So as we say this, as Simard has just taken P1 with 121.5. So we'll just jump over to him shortly.
Yeah, it's absolutely hard to keep up with at this stage, folks, because you've got on our timetable here, you've got so many drivers in the green that are all setting quick laps, and I'm counting at least 7 on this lap alone. So you're going to see a lot of competition in this qualifying session, and as both Fabian and Simon alluded to earlier, there's absolutely nothing in it between the top 20 or so guys. This is I can't wait to get into our things to watch for in the race, because my suggestion is going to be watch all 43 of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty insane. So, like you said, so many people in the grid at the moment. I mean, we're still just over 9 minutes left of qualifying. So, yeah, lots going to change, especially the last couple of minutes of the qualifying as we go into the extra time as well. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what actually occurs with this at the moment. But Samir at the moment is currently holding P1. So we'll see what Mike Noble can do shortly. So Mike Noble is in the pits at the moment. So Samir is currently up by 1 tenth at the moment. So that could give him P4 at the moment. Just scrolling down the list at the moment, we have got Wolf, who's currently was 2 tenths up at the moment. So this might make him improve. He did end up this. Yeah, Wolf ended up winning the 6-hour endurance race we did at Bathurst the start of February, so he's definitely one to watch out for. So he's very good with his teammates in what he did in the 6-hour race, and he is taking part in our 12-hour race on the 18th of April as well. So yeah, definitely one to look out for. So he should be pretty interesting to see what he can do today. But we have got some seriously fast guys in this lobby today. So we'll just keep an eye on what's happening with the timers at the moment. Lots of people again still up in the greens at the moment with like 1 tenth, 2 tenths at the moment, but these guys are mostly down P10 at the moment. So we will just see what actually accumulates with this. But still at the moment top 17, almost under 1 second off the pace at the moment. So yeah, it's definitely getting interesting. So as we're just literally about the halfway mark of the qualifying. So we've got James Parker at the moment. His best lap so far is a 122.1. So 6 tenths off the pace at the moment. So as I say, and he's normally a Mercedes man, and I'm quite surprised to see him in the BMW today. So, but we have seen that he can actually get into the 121s. So I guess it's all down to the traffic and what he can actually achieve here. So we'll stay with him for a minute and see how he does. But it doesn't actually look like he's up on time at the moment, so I might jump over ships in a second.
Yes, currently we've got optimum grip levels, so optimum track for all the drivers that are currently driving.
So yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's
Bobby,
interesting stuff. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to ask Fabian to say that again. We have what grip levels?
We have optimum grip levels.
Oh my gosh, that's a racing driver's best friend. He absolutely wants to hear that. And every time he's out there on the track, doesn't he? That's like the best thing. That's like telling your commute home is going to be less than 5 minutes. It's so good. It's so gratifying to hear that. I wonder what's going to happen, because am I to understand that we're going to race into darkness today?
Yes, we will be. Yes, that's right. So the race in-game time will be 5 p.m. and we've got a 2 times progression. So yeah, we should see us up to about 9 p.m. So interesting stuff. Mike Noble has just gone wide there. He was up on his time, but he's now lost 5-6 tenths now. So yeah, he's pretty much lost this lap. So he won't be taking P1 yet. We will just jump over to Garland at the moment, who's currently P7. He is currently he was 1/10 up. That has taken him up to P5 now, so he has gained a position from that.
Yeah, he slowly keeps going faster and faster. He was P14 before, then P7, and now P5. So let's see if he can improve even further.
Absolutely, yeah. As I say, it's going to get so interesting in the next sort of 5 minutes or so, especially into the extra time, where hopefully the track should be a little more quieter and people should be able to get faster laps in. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this at the moment, but still, so we're down to P17 almost. So it's literally just 1 second off the pace, so it's absolutely incredible how close these timings are. Literally nothing in it at all.
Yeah, and just looking at the times, there are many groups together. 2 guys 3 tenths behind the leader, then there are 3 guys with 4 tenths behind, then 2 guys with 6 tenths behind, so many groups together. So each driver has another driver that is close to him.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll see if Jarde can do any better, as he's, well, we say that as he's just gone into the pits, or just pulled off.
And currently we see Sami Ibrahimi improving.
Yes, he's currently 1/10 off again, so this could take him up to even P4, maybe P3. So we'll stay with him for a moment. The trouble is I've got so many cars to go through to try and capture everything. It's need a second pair of hands.
That would be handy.
Yeah, and a second head as well.
Yeah, but looking at... Sorry?
No, I was going to say, sorry, Fabian, was that a joke inside of a joke just then?
Then I didn't catch the joke myself, maybe. What did I say?
Oh, this is going to cost Soy Samir dearly at the moment, because he has got a bit of traffic here with a Porsche in front, so I don't think he's going to be able to... Yeah, he has ended up losing a couple attempts from that, unfortunately, so he isn't actually up on his time due to the traffic. So this is what I mean, literally a couple of corners left, and he ended up losing a couple of attempts there, which would have put him up to P2, or even P3 even, sorry. So yeah, anything can happen, unfortunately, during this qualifying. So just over 3 minutes left of the qualifying at the moment. See if anything else improves at the moment. So we have... We've got Mikulski in currently P8 at the moment. So he's currently up by a 10th. So if he can keep this up and get to 2 tenths, then he could end up to put himself into up to P5. So he is up by 2 tenths right now. So we'll see how this materializes.
Yeah, he goes through the last corner, loses a little bit again, but it should be enough to improve for Krzysztof Maszkowski.
Nice, and he takes P3.
That was a good lap.
That was a very good lap from him, so yeah, awesome there. So we're going to jump over to P6 at the moment, because he is currently up by 1/10.
Which is Galen Dimov, who also won the 2-hour Bathurst race for the Pro AM class. So if you win a Bathurst race, you are already very talented, because you showed everyone that you can go 2 hours through Bathurst without touching the walls too much.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, that reminds me, actually we have got our 3-hour Bathurst race on the 8th of March as well, so that's got some driver swaps and stuff. This one's mainly just for testing purposes, ready for our 12-hour race, so we just want to make sure that everything's all running smoothly. So we have been doing a few tests, like yesterday for example with the ACC devs, just to try and improve the driver swap experience and stuff, and hopefully we should have a few more patches on our way once they obviously patch them in. So yeah, so hopefully, so with our 3-hour race at Bathurst on the 8th of March, that should then make us all more prepared for the 12-hour race in April, on April 18th for Suzuka there. And then if that goes all well, then we will be setting up a 24-hour race in Q3 this year. So yeah, it's either go big or go home.
Yes, and it looks like that Philippe Simard and Mike Noble are happy with their qualifying pace, as they won't be doing any more laps, as they are still in the pits. But we've got
Gallin at the moment.
Still out.
Yeah, so yeah. Garland at the moment is P6 only. He's still he's 4 temps up at the moment, so this could get interesting.
Very good lap. He lost a bit again, but maybe he will gain a bit in the last sector. But that's usually the sector where I've seen, together with Ryan, where the drivers lose all the time again because they risk a bit too much.
I've lost the drive. Oh dear.
He's still
sorry, I picked the wrong cars. Oh, just
2 tenths now, so he lost a bit
he did, yes,
to these fast corners, but now he's back to 3 tenths, so that will be very interesting. 3 tenths now for Galin Dimov, and where will he finish? It looks like P2. So that was a very good lap from Dimov.
Absolutely, yeah. So Makoski is currently up by 2 temps as well, so we'll see what happens here.
Yes, indeed.
That takes him up to P2, so he's just taken P2 there off of Garlin, who's now pushing him down to P3. There's now pushed Mike Noble down to P4. So this is getting very interesting. So we got Jakob, who's currently P8, who's 1/10 up as well.
And Jardia 5 tenths. That will be very interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. So where is Jardia at the moment? Just see with Jardia. Yeah, so we'll stay with Jardia a second, because he is just finishing off there. That puts Jardia up to P5. Awesome stuff there. So jump back over to Jakob, who's currently P9, and see what he can produce here. So he's only 1/10 up at the moment. So could give him P7, P6. And he goes P6. So there we go. At the moment, who else is up at the moment? We've got Wolf at the moment, who's currently 2 temps up. Currently P21 at the moment. So we'll see what he can produce here. Nice. That takes him up to P15. So that was nicely done there by Wolf. So there we go.
And guys, while you guys were watching Wolf Matushka, James Parker, who was in 10th, took 3 tenths off in the final sector around here and got all the way up to 6th place. What an amazing lap by both of those guys.
That's absolutely awesome. So that's the end of the session there, guys. I don't know why it keeps throwing up the chat there, so we will just return to garage a sec. I'll just bring up the timetable for you guys. There seems to be a little bug here, so we'll be speaking to the ACC devs because it keeps doing this. So you'll just run through the list there quickly. So these are your guys at the moment. We do actually have currently... Is it 44 drivers in by looks at 44 with 2 guys not setting a time yet. So this is going to get interesting. Hopefully I can be able to click drive in a minute. Anytime today. I don't want to be stuck out here.
Yes, and while he does that, it's just fantastic looking at this grid, isn't it, Fabian? It's just look at how many rows deep they are.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm trying to click drive. I'm having issues. I don't know what's going on.
Especially looking at Mike Noble's very beautiful car, I think his main quest is to make his car livery, I wouldn't say more beautiful, but more ugly every time he races in RLM.
There we go. Right, okay. So, where were we? So what I'll do quickly, guys, is I will just put a track guide video on for you guys of Laguna Seca. So this is courteous of Ryan, who's not with us tonight, unfortunately, but we'll just be back shortly. So...
Welcome to the Raceway Laguna Seca, located 70 miles south of San Jose on the western coast. The 2.23 mile circuit, built in 1957 and last changed in 1996, has 11 corners and a lap record of 123.156 set by Honda in 2019. Overtaking is tricky around here, but there's a good chance at turn 3 if you can get a good run out of the Andretti hairpin, as the Ferrari is seen here. The corkscrew is one of the most incredible corners in all of motorsport. Overtaking isn't impossible, but it is impressive when done correctly. And turn 11. Slip up the inside of your opponents and push them as wide as you dare to give them the least chances possible to fight back into turns 1 and 2.
So there we go. Right. What we'll quickly do is just jump over to your cam there quickly. Right, Jesse, if you don't mind, would you like to run through the order quickly of the guys from P1 backwards, please? That'd be nice for us, and we'll go through the camera.
Absolutely. And folks, if I get your name wrong, you can write me in a DM, but I apologize. But starting on pole position today, we have Felipe Simard, who out-qualified everybody, but he shares the front row with Krisilov Mikowski. Second row, Galen Demov and Mike Noble. Then we have Jardier and James Parker, Jacob Chart and Tobias Pfeiffer. Ivalo Grigorov, Samir Ibrahimi, Elvin Smith, Kevin Saklari, Matsim Yanov, Tobias Queck, Wolf Matushka, Phil Vitt, Osi Takamaki, Ray Strello, Victoria Thompson, Darren King, Bruno Cadile, Samuel Villa, Nicolo Villacini, Mitja Bonko, David Mame, Marvin Whale, Lubomir Zaman, don't have my contacts in, sorry boys.
That's all right.
Alaric Insulin, Dennis Primanov, Vasily Anafrev, Zach Williams, Tom Pottage, Robin Klaus, Capo Gunsu, Rafael Kanoka, Werner Grift, Michael Springler, Tetra Peter, Ryan Renoir, Joseph Varga, Boris Kotov, George Smith, Nicholas Rage, and rounding out the grid in a 43rd position, Sebastian Zajac.
So there we are, guys. So that is our grid today. So we've got 43 cars on the grid. So we did have 49 sign-ups, but I guess we obviously missed a few. But still going to be interesting to see for sure. So what I will do quickly is I will just send us over quickly to the start of the grid. So we have got a full formation lap. So the guys will get into single file, do a full formation lap. As they get round to the second and last corner, they will get back up into single file again. So they're all bunched back up nicely, and then the leader will take them around the final corner up to the start-finish line, and then when it goes green, it is go, go, go. So hopefully we have a nice clean T1. Fingers crossed. So anyway, guys, while we got literally a second left, who is your favourites for today?
So this time I will start, and I will stay with my favorite pick, which is Mike Noble. He will just start P4, but he will still be my favorite driver for today's win, as he is a very consistent driver. He is known in the ACC championships as one of the fastest drivers in Assetto Corsa Competizione, so that's why I will pick him.
Absolutely, yeah. So thanks for commenting, guys. Really appreciate that. So don't forget, guys, we are streaming to both YouTube and Twitch. So if you're on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe, please. And if you're on Twitch, don't forget to obviously hit that follow button. And also, if you're an Amazon Prime customer, you can subscribe to us on Twitch for free. So you obviously get to see all our races and everything, and get the notification straight away. But anyway, we are off at the moment. So nice and clean so far through the formation lap. So everyone is behaving nicely. So thanks for following, guys. Really appreciate that. So yeah, so at the moment, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be a very long train with 43 cars on Laguna Seca. So this will get very very interesting. So we'll just jump over. Oh, where are we to? Let's get down to the corkscrew.
Jesse, Simon, what do you think? Who will win?
Oh, this is interesting because we've got quite a couple of new guys here as well, which have obviously stormed in to take the lead here for Laguna Seca at the moment with the qualifying. So it's going to be interesting. Join 2 hours pit strategies. We know from what we've seen with Samir at the 2.4-hour race in season 2, where he got the win from that as well. Who knows? But I know at the end of the day that the Lamborghini can be an absolute handful as well. So, you know, will this actually cost Samir in the long run? I mean, what I don't want to do is be the commentator's curse again, because every time we say these things, it always ends up going. Every time we say something, it always happens. So, yeah.
Yeah, except for Ryan, it seems that Ryan brings luck to the drivers, actually.
Yes, true, actually. Yes, very true. So everyone is lining up nicely in his double file. To be honest, we know that Mike Noble has got the pace and he has the consistency as well. So, you know, this could be very interesting. But also, it all depends what's going to happen at T1. I don't know if I want to call it.
Well, it is the calm before the storm as we go 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by, you get it by now, down the front straight here at Laguna Seca as the green flag drops.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is interesting now. So let's hope for a nice clean T1. I've got my fingers crossed. We have got 3 wide in some places, even 4 wide in some places. But at the moment, it's looking pretty all right at the moment. A couple of little bumps here and there, but as I say that, we have got 1 car off at the moment has been taken out. So that's not too bad for T1. I will accept that. I think that is pretty clean so far. We have got another driver who's had a... looks like a couple of people just spinning off by themselves by the looks of that. But so far, that hasn't been too bad. I was absolutely expecting an absolute massacre at T1, but goes to show, obviously, with a higher SA rating, it can be possible. We have got another car collision there. So, 2 more cars taken out there, unfortunately. So, this is the problem with, obviously, big grids. We do obviously get these incidents, even with, you know, some of these alien guys who obviously do race, you know, try to race as clean as they can, obviously have such a high SA rating. Obviously, accidents do happen. But at the moment, our current leader is still Samada at the moment. So, we'll stay with that so far. So, no victims yet at the corkscrew. So nice and clean through the corkscrew so far, so that's nicely done there.
And Mike Noble already got to P2, and he will now pressure Philippe Simard for the race lead.
Absolutely. So yeah, so it looks like we had about 3 or 4 incidents there through lap 1, unfortunately. So a couple of people gone into the pits, as we just see there.
Yeah, Range and Kotov have both gotten drive-through penalties on this opening lap, and someone that didn't get a drive-through penalty but has had an opening lap to forget is Sebastian Zizek, who has been off 3 or 4 times, not really of his doing to this point, but luckily it is a 2-hour race, and you do have a lot of time to come back from something like that.
Absolutely. So, yeah, as we're saying, so Mike Noble has come up to P2. James Parker's now going to manage to get up to P3. Jardir is still holding P5. So, it looks like James Parker's managed to get past Jardir, because he was originally P6 to start with. So, yeah, James Parker's managed to gain 3 positions there from P6 to P3. So, it's great stuff at the moment.
Yeah, and we've also got 5 different manufacturers in the top 5.
Absolutely, yeah. So, just see how this pans out. So, going to be interesting to say, we've got Ferrari, we've got Nissan, and we've got a BMW, as well as a Porsche and Mercedes, all sort of in the top 5 there at the moment. So yeah, 5 different manufacturers. So we'll see what's going to happen there. So yeah, thanks for the follow there, guys. Really appreciate it. So do keep them coming. Thank you. So far looking pretty clean at the moment.
Yeah, guys, it looks like Mike Noble is hunting Ferraris. It must be Ferrari season. And as Fabian has put it in pre-race, a very beautiful Nissan GTR. I don't think anybody would disagree with that sentiment, and it's going to be crazy how he takes it up a notch from here. But he's certainly turning up the heat on our leader right now, as not only has he gotten by the James Parker BMW, he's driven up to your leader currently.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's going to get very interesting. I might call it out once the race finishes. Who I'm going to think's going to win. But yeah, I don't want to obviously do the commentator's curse on people, because every time we call it out, something happens to them. Bless them.
Yeah, but usually that also makes the race a bit more interesting, doesn't it?
Well, the last time Simon and I picked a winner of a race, they both had to pit on the last lap, so we're a little shaken by that. And I would definitely not pick Jardier in this race, just so you know. Jardier is not my pick to win this race. Jardier.
Absolutely. So there we are. So lots going on right across the field at the moment. Too much action to try and capture every single overtake so far, with obviously 43 cars on the grid. But we will try and do our best. Once it starts to spread out a bit more, it'll be more easier to capture these overtakes. But yeah, lots of action going on, even at the back of the field at the moment, and also obviously up to the front as well. So we've got a nice long train of cars pretty much right across the grid at the moment. So yeah, should be quite interesting. We're just going to jump over to Samir, because he is almost in a freeway battle here at the moment with P6 and P5. So this is going to get quite interesting here between these three here as they start to come up to the corkscrew. As it looks like the Mikowski's managed to get the overtake, hasn't he, there on Jardier. So that puts Jardier up to P6. I do apologize. I'm actually reading the wrong thing here. Something's going. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, something's going wrong with my my broadcasting tool again. What's going on with my broadcasting tool?
It is P4.
So yes, it is P4. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so P4. Yeah, so Jardier's got the overtake there after P4. Sorry.
So
sometimes it's better just to watch what's on screen and actually look at the broadcasting tool, because it gets so confusing sometimes.
Yes, but what's very interesting, the grid has been mixed up so much in the top 10s there. We've got Parker storming through the field. We've got Noble, who jumped 2 places. We've got Jardier, who I think he started on P10, is now P4. So very interesting things happen in the first few laps.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely lots going on at the moment. It's just trying to capture everything, because it looks like Vicky did get a pass as well. It's pushed up the P17. Again, there's so much going on right now. It's very hard to capture, because, as I said, everyone's literally within sort of 2 tenths of each other. So it's very hard for me to know who's actually about to have an overtake and who's not. But it might be interesting here with P11. We'll just jump over here to see if anything's going to materialise from this. So it doesn't look like anything's going to actually materialise on that in the end. So there's so much action going on at the moment, but it looks like at the moment P1 has managed to get a 1 second gap off of Noble at the moment, so pretty much keeping their distance at the moment, with James Parker 1.5 seconds off of Mike Noble as well. So this could be getting interesting a bit later on in the race, especially with pit strategies and stuff, to see what happens with these guys at the tops, because so many times, just said, even from our 2.4 hour Spa race we did last Saturday, you know, we had Samir, who was P2 for pretty much the last sort of 3/4 of the race, with obviously no chance of him getting P1 at that point, and then literally on the very last lap we have one of the guys end up having to go in for a pit stop because he ran out of fuel. And then obviously Samir got the lead for that. So yeah, so it can be very, very interesting. Because I said, there's no mandatory pit stop. It is pure pit strategy for these guys. Again, if they want to fuel save, they can. If they want to go flat out and do a 50-50 split, they can. It's entirely up to them. I don't know if anyone will be actually taking tyres. It might just be literally a splash and dash. Yeah, again, it's going to be very interesting to see what people decide to do. Some might actually take tyres. So who knows? We'll see what happens with the weather and stuff as well. With obviously the temperatures dropping as well, because at the moment it is 27 degrees ambient. So things could get interesting.
At least for now, the forecast says for the next 15 minutes that there's no rain, but who knows? And we also see Wolf Matuszka, who started on P50 and is already P9. So another driver who jumped a few positions on the start.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, Wolf Matuszka is in Tier 2, and I've heard a lot of people talk about him, about how he's one of the aliens, too, that deserves to be in P1. And as you know, in more recent history, he's won a endurance race in RLM, and I mean, he's the real deal, isn't he? He's up there. He's shown time and time again that he can compete. He's in the top 10 here. It's incredible.
Absolutely, yeah. So at the moment, Jakub is putting the pressure on Mikulski in front at the moment. Kowski even. So this could be interesting. Might get an overtake here shortly for P6. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. If anything's going to happen in P1, if not, I've got another battle going on as well, which I might have to jump back down to P30 in a minute. But we might get the overtake if he has closed the door off, unfortunately. So Jakub is still holding P7. We'll see if there's any chance of an overtake here. But it looks like it's a bit more slow without that corner there, so it's lost him a bit of time. So we've got battles. We've got so many battles going on right now across the grid. It's so hard to capture everything that's going on, whether it's actually an overtake or literally people just run off each other's backsides at the moment, because it's just so hard to overtake here. As you can see, it's literally just forcing the people in front to make a mistake to gain these positions at the moment. Because we might get an overtake here by Ray Strader, but unfortunately Ray Strader didn't get it. But that's interesting as well, because Ray Strader is now down to P12 as well. I mean, he did pretty well at the start of the qualifying. Obviously, got himself bumped down the grid as some of the fastest guys managed to get their times in, but still currently P12 at the moment, so he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, it just seemed like a lap or so ago, guys, that Takamaki was going to pass Tobias Queck, and now all of a sudden Takamaki has a mirror full of Reg Strello. He's more used to driving against his brother than Reg, but here we are in this situation, and now you got Takamaki back on the back of Tobias Queck for that 10th place. This right here, anybody can pass anybody. All it's going to take is somebody to stick their nose down in there, and we talked about it before. We talked about this racetrack, and my key to this race is don't throw yourself off the road. I mean, it's not. It's basically, it might as well be Monaco. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely, yeah. 1 second, yeah. It looks like Jakub has managed to get the overtake here to take actually P6 off of Mikulski.
Mikulski did a mistake at turn 5, I think it is. That's what allowed Jarkot to go by. And Jardia, where is Jardia? Jardia loses many positions. He's in P12 now. What did happen to him? I will have a quick look.
He's lost a few positions there. I'll see if I can capture that.
Straight, didn't it? Because he was off to the right side.
Yeah, he spun.
He actually spun, yeah. So it looks like there was a GTR off the track as well, just before that as well. So.
Oh yeah, okay, so what happened? He went too wide, went on the sand, and that made him lose the control of his car. And that's why he is P12 now.
Interesting.
So he is almost now back to his starting position.
Well, you know what they say, if you did it once, you can do it again, right?
Yeah, but it will get harder now as everything is spread out more now.
Absolutely. it will.
This is true, but then if we take the Bathurst race we did, the first Bathurst race we did, and we had Andre Frankie there. You know, look at him. He was obviously running the pole for that time. He span on the mountain, had to reverse and try and lost so many positions. But then, you know, the result we got at the end of it, getting P3, you know, was pretty impressive. You know, so it can be done.
Yeah, that's definitely right, but I definitely don't want to take anything away from Andre Frankie's great run through the grid. But the thing with Bathurst is that either many drivers try to be a bit more careful due to the mountain section, or other drivers crash even, and that I think Andre Frankie just basically risked everything to go to P3 again. So that helped him a bit, I think, and that's not what you wanna. What will happen at Laguna Seca, as there won't be that many cars crashing out.
No, very true. But then again, this is quite a technical course as well, so anything could happen, as we have seen many a times.
That is right, but the walls are not as close to you as in Bathurst, which is an advantage for the driver.
Absolutely. Just like Elvin Smith's just made a big mistake there, because that's now dropped him back a few positions. Was it Elvin Smith? It wasn't Elvin Smith, sorry. The camera was lying to me. It was Elvin Smith, actually, yeah, because he had lost position there. So Jada has now got back up to P11, so that is right there. So thanks for the follow there, guys. Really appreciate that. Do keep them coming. I mean, it's at the moment, with so many cars on the track, it's so hard to try and capture everything right now because everyone is so close to each other.
Well, Simon, let me bring you up to date on Takamaki, who is having a race in and of itself. We were focusing on Jardier with the spin before turn 5. Something happened to Takamaki immediately following that. You may recall he was fighting Tobias Quick for a top 10 spot.
Yep.
He was in 17th. He's now just gotten back up to 16th place because Ibrahimi has pitted, but something happened there as well. To your credit, to your point, it's just so much is going on. It's hard to follow it all, and I would have loved to have seen what happened to him, but clearly some sort of spin.
Absolutely, yeah. So I said hopefully once this starts to spread out a bit, as I said, it'd be a lot more easier to capture all the action that's going on. But like I said, we've got so many cars on the grid at the moment, so much action going on because everyone is literally bumper to bumper in places. I said it's so hard to capture who is actually going to have an overtake and who is purely just racing, you know, in a train. Because again, at the moment we've got P29 looks like they might be having a battle in a minute, so we'll have to jump over there. We've got P39 might be having a battle, so you know there's just so much going on right now. And
Samia Ibrahimi just disconnected. Guess he had damage from an incident before.
Oh, that's such a shame. I did say that Lambo was a very challenging car, that's for sure, especially for this track as well. So I was quite surprised to see him actually do this. So Giardia was almost going for the overtake here for P10 off Elvin Smith, but unfortunately didn't get it. But he is putting the pressure on Elvin Smith at the moment. So we will stay with these guys and see what actually happens, if anything does materialise from it.
Okay, so what happened to Samir Ibrahimi was basically the same as for Jardier. He went wide on the sand traps, which seem to be real traps today, and that made him spin and go into the wall.
That's such a shame. Like I said, unfortunately, you know, the Lambo is not an easy car to drive. You know, you really need to dial that setup in and get it perfect. So yeah, I was quite surprised to see Samir actually take that car. Maybe he should have kept with the Porsche like he normally goes for. But yeah, such a shame to see that. So I don't know if we're actually going to get an overtake here at the moment with Jardy. He was really close to Smith a moment ago for P10, but it looks like he's just backed out of it with small mistakes. So we'll see if anything does materialise. I'm just going to jump over and see what else is about.
Yeah, so I had a look at the trends of the first three positions. The gap between P1 and P2 stays basically the same. Sometimes someone loses more, sometimes the other one, but it's basically stays the same for the last few laps. Maybe Simar gains a few tenths a lap, but not much to Noble. And then there's the gap between James Parker and Mike Noble, and that seems to grow a bit every lap, around half a second currently.
Absolutely. So we might get an overtake shortly with P10 and P9. So a minute ago it was Jardia on the back end of Smith, but now Smith is actually on the back end of Quirk. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Quirk, Tobias Quirk.
Quick.
As he just made a big mistake there, unfortunately. He lost the position as Jardia managed to get the inside. No, he hasn't got the inside, so he actually just managed to maintain P10 there. So what I'll do quickly, I will just bring up a preview there, so we've got a helicopter cam as well, so we can see exactly what's going on between these guys. So yeah, we've also got like a freeway battle going on at the moment. And this is obviously just the top 10 here at the moment, let alone what's going on further down the back of the grid, which looks like there's a lot of action going on because we have people at the moment with only sort of a couple tenths between them. So, Fabian, if you could keep an eye on Kevin Scolari and see what's happening there at P25, because there might be an overtake from I just see on the broadcast, that'd be great, please.
Yeah,
just
sure.
let us keep us updated with what happens there. And also, Jesse, if you see anything across the grid, just let us know as well while I stay with Smith and that for the moment. At P10.
Absolutely, action everywhere around this track. And just talking about Elvin Smith for a second, did you see how he threw it down into turn 1? You got to wonder, was that an accident or?
And Kevin Siclari just lost his car. Looks like that he went too wide on the curb, meaning that his car spun.
So that's a shame. So Kevin Scolari not doing so well today. I mean, generally Kevin Scolari's doing pretty well in season 2. So yeah, it's a shame to see he's not doing so well at this event. So
yeah, he's currently P3 in the season, so that's quite surprising to me that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Seems to struggle.
So yeah, so it's going to get interesting as it will start to the night will start to draw in a bit later on as well. So. And obviously, again, we've got pit strategies coming up, so we'll see who's going to be jumping in the pits in the next sort of 40 minutes. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's happening there. It looks like just missed the overtake there just behind. So was that Darren King having a battle at the moment with Jardia? It is Darren King there. So they're having a battle just behind there of Elvin Smith at P10.
And Tobias Quack made a mistake. And he now lost position to Jardia and maybe to Darren King as well.
Oh, that is such a shame. So Quick, who's obviously currently P9, is now down to P11. He's lost 2 positions from that. So now we've got Darren King on the on the back end of Quick at the moment.
Yeah, and with Quack you can see how quickly you can lose positions.
This is it, yeah. Just the smallest mistake can happen, and yeah, like I said, just to change the position is just so intense right now.
Oh, Fabian, you're so quick-witted. Man, I gotta say, Darren King looks racy. I don't know what it is about the Bentleys, and maybe because they're a little bit bigger, they look a bit more racy. I don't know. As we have Elvin Smith off the road. Quick goes by. I don't know if there was contact there. I didn't see that from that angle, guys. But Quick by them.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any incident reported there, but I did see one of the cars go off in the background there who you just named. So, no, interesting. I'll just scroll down and see what's going on at the moment. Because at the moment, as I said, so much going on right now. I'd probably jump over to Tom Potteridge. It looks like it might be a battle escalating with these guys as well once the camera catches up.
And I guess there will be a battle in a few laps between Philippe Simard and Mike Noble, the 2 leaders of this race, as Mike Noble has been coming closer and closer to Philippe. He's now 4 tenths behind him, so there must be an issue with Philippe Simard's car.
That's interesting. So I'll leave that up on the top preview for the guys at the top right there. So that's actually currently P1, P2. So while we just flick through the rest of the action, if obviously anything does materialise, then we'll be straight over to catch with the action for the current leaders at the moment. But yeah, what is interesting now is obviously Jardia has managed to get up to P10. So even though he lost those few positions earlier on, he is slowly closing those gaps back off. You know, and I guess, you know, as we sort of get probably another hour on into the race, you know, driver fatigue and stuff like that, and you know, people losing concentration and focus, you know, that can obviously affect the race as well. So yeah, again, you know, the top 10 are going to be probably so much different to what it is now. So currently P29 is also, they might be interested in having a battle in a minute between these two guys for P28.
Fabian, you said Samard was about 2 seconds ahead of Mike Noble earlier, correct?
He wasn't 2 seconds ahead, but around 1.6 seconds.
Yeah, you don't lose that much time unless something goes wrong, do you? You're not just going to lose 1.5
Absolutely.
seconds.
So Mike Noble is on the back end here of Samir at the moment. Simard. I don't know why I keep getting confused with Samir for some reason, but it's not Samir, unfortunately. He's retired. So this could get very interesting with these guys at the moment.
And Raik Strelo is in the pits now. So he must be the first driver from the top 10 in the pits, if we count out Sami Ibrahimi.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're staying on board with P1, P2 at the moment because, like I said, something might materialise from this shortly.
Do you think that Strello can make it 95 minutes?
No. I don't think so. That is quite a stretch. And even if you try to save as much fuel as you can with all the fuel maps and coasting and so on and so forth, I don't think that you can save so much.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's something I'm actually testing myself properly to see how much fuel saving you can be done. But I mean, over a 2-hour race, you know, the amount of time you're going to lose from trying to fuel save and coast around corners and stuff, you know, just to try and save those extra litres, is it going to be worth it in the long run for a pit stop? And I don't think it is, personally. So I think for these races, you're probably better off going flat out.
Yeah, I would certainly agree. I wonder if maybe the Strello car had some damage, or we'll have to see. We've tried to predict what was going on in the race before and been absolutely surprised by the finish. So who knows? Raik Strello could be the winner of this race, and I just wanted to say that now. So in case in an hour and a half, if he does do that, I want to be the guy that says that he called it. But anyway, the battle up front is still sticking together, and it's like Fabian said earlier. Mike Noble wasn't losing too much. So as you see, now that the gap's closed back up, they're not really, I mean, they're chained at the hip, as they say.
Absolutely, yeah. So as they just had a back marker, it's in front of him between P1 and P2 right now, as Mike Noble has managed to get past nicely. So the battle is still currently on with these guys. So just less than 5 tenths between them at the moment as he is closing the gap up. But is it going to be enough for them to get an overtake? But it looks like the Ferrari is pulling away at the moment as they come up to T1.
Yeah, it looks like that the Ferrari is fast enough on the straights to keep Mike Noble behind. And Mike Noble couldn't really attack the Ferrari in front of him in the last 4 laps. But maybe he just waits for him to make a mistake, which will be hard as Philippe Simard is such an experienced driver. I guess he won't be much under pressure now.
Nope. Camera's taking a while to catch up there. I don't know why that's on. Thanks for the follow there, guys. Really appreciate it. Again, like I said, we are streaming on both YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So if you're on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe, please. That'd be much appreciated. Also, if you're following on Twitch, don't forget to hit that follow button. That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. So yeah, so this is going to be pretty interesting between these guys. I mean, again, it's going to be down to pit strategy as well, where these guys end up being, in the second half of the race. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to go on, who has the better pit strategy to obviously take the lead of the race. But I think my money on at the moment, with James Parker almost 6 seconds behind, I think the money might be on Mike Noble, because we know he has got very good pit strategies as well from recent races. I mean, we haven't got too much info on Simard at the moment, because I think this is one of his first races he's done with us.
It is his first race.
He is, yeah. So unfortunately, we don't have too much information on him at the moment. So, yeah, again, I mean, for all knows, I mean, again, this is just commentators just saying what they think. You know, it's not actually the truth. we don't know until it actually happens, unfortunately. So we're not fortune tellers. But yeah, no, who knows? We'll see what happens. But I've got my money on Mike Noble because obviously I've seen what he can do in the races, and he's raced with us a fair few times. Obviously with Simard at the moment, I mean, he's currently holding P1. But he has lost a good half a second from the lead he had a moment ago with Mike Noble in P2. So I don't know. I'm still I think I'm gonna call Mike Noble personally. I mean, but if Simard does end up taking the win for this race, then hats off to him. He's done very well. So we'll just have to see again. So maybe they might pit the next 30 minutes. Maybe they might just drag it out until they completely empty their tanks. It's going to be interesting to see if they actually follow each other into the pit lane as well. So we will keep an eye on this to see what.
And he goes to the inside.
And he's made a mistake. Yes, and Mike Noble has managed to take the overtake, to take P1 right now. So there we are. So this obviously can get very interesting right now. So it's going to be interesting now with Mike Noble having to have the pressure now of Simard behind him. So.
Ooh.
Side by side out of the final turn. They are side by side coming down the front straight. We're going to see who has the ponies right now as they come across the start-finish line. And it's looking like that Ferrari, guys, as you guys said. But here he comes back on the outside as he throws it really deep into turn one. Simard goes a bit wide. Noble flashing the lights, and everything went back to naught.
Oh,
that
wow.
was so important for Philippe Simard, as I think that currently Mike Noble would be the faster driver as he's at the back of Simard for such a long time now. And Simard knows this as well, and this is why he basically sent it into the last corner, and he also made it. So that was a very good pass.
Absolutely.
Continues.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. So there we go. It's going to be very interesting here for the leaders at the moment.
And I guess I didn't promise you too much about Philippe Simard.
Absolutely, yeah. So they've got some traffic up ahead of them again. So this is going to get interesting again with the leaders coming up with the current traffic in front.
Yeah, and guys, why that was all going on and we were screaming at the top of our lungs, Jardy has gotten by Elvin Smith for 8th place, continuing his march to the front. They were nose to tail for about 4 or 5 laps, and Jardy finally got by.
Yeah, and the battle doesn't really continue because Philippe Simard is now into the pits.
That's interesting. So he's going for a pit so early, isn't he? So is he? That's a very early pit stop there. So.
I mean, he had some slower lap times when Noble caught him. So maybe he has a flat spot or something like that and wants to change his tires.
That will be interesting. We'll have to see what happens later on with that then. So quite surprised to see him going for a pit stop so early. So that obviously keeps Mike Noble currently holding P1. So I'm guessing that Simard will have to do a second pit stop later on to obviously pit for fuel and stuff, because I don't see him obviously lasting 90 minutes unless he just fuel saves. Yeah, who knows? We'll have to see what is actually possible here, whether he actually just runs in a very low engine map and chance to save here. So Simard is now out of the pits at the moment, so he's now into P12 as we just... We'll just put that on the preview there. So yeah, Simard is now currently P12 at the moment, so he has lost 11 positions from his pit stop. So that was quite a quick pit stop there. Maybe it was just a quick refuel, because he wasn't in there that long, was he, for absolute tyre change and stuff.
Okay, so maybe he follows another strategy. I don't know actually, because it should be too early for finishing the race with just one stop, as you guys said. Maybe he tries to undercut him in some ways to have some lighter fuel now and be faster than him in the moment. Or something mentioned in the chat that maybe he wanted to avoid the traffic in front of him, which Mike Noble is just in right now.
Yeah, this is true. It could all be, let's say, down to pure strategy, with the traffic. It could end up, coming to his advantage later on. But, who knows? I mean... Again, with like nearly 90 minutes left of the race, to jump into the pits that earlier on, I mean, that is really risky. I can't see him lasting 90 minutes on a full tank. I'm sure he's going to have to go in for a second time to, for a splash and dash. So, Very
Yeah,
interesting.
and I mean, he will now have the challenge to overtake some cars on track for position, as he's just 3.4 seconds behind Ozzy Takamaki in P11. So it will even be harder for him to overtake someone than for Noble, as Noble just has to pass some back markers, which should make space more easily than.
Yeah, I understand what you're
races
trying to
for
say. It's
position.
just what I'm looking at is maybe this is a good strategy for him, because he knows the cars in front of him will have to go in for a pit in the next sort of 26 minutes or so, depending if everyone is going for a 50-50 split. You know, so then that could play to his advantage, where he could get some clear road, you know, to obviously gain some time again. Again, who knows? I mean, like I said, he's going to have to go in for a second pit stop. I'm sure he has to. I mean, unfortunately, I've never actually tested on fuel saving on these cars to see if it's actually worth it in a 2-hour race, you know, to even be able to get 90 minutes out of a tank. I mean, generally, a full tank probably lasts, what, 70 minutes on engine map 1 on some cars?
I don't know, but actually there was an interesting question that covers that a bit. Subzi, maybe I mispronounced it, so sorry for that, asked if we can get a peek at his ECU map, and this should usually work. I don't know if it's always the case, but I can have a look at the map, which is currently at map 1, which is the fastest one for the Ferrari. So it doesn't look like that he will do some fuel saving, which should be a 2-stop race for him now.
Absolutely, yeah. So this obviously puts James Park up to P2 at the moment. But yeah, to answer your question, guys, yeah, so this is just purely just a single driver event with up to 50 cars on track. I think we actually got 43, maybe 42 cars in now. So we have lost a couple along the way. So yeah, so this one's just purely just a single endurance sort of race. A fun race, just because obviously the DLC come out at the start of February, and obviously we just wanted to, you know, get on and just give you guys some of these tracks whilst we've got season 2 going on bi-weekly. And obviously on top of that, obviously we've got the 3-hour driver swap Bathurst race on the 8th of March, and then we've obviously got the 12-hour Suzuka race on the 18th of March. So we've got the qualifying the week before that on the 11th of March, I believe we're doing the qualifying. So there'll be 2 rounds of qualifying for that for people to get their spots as well. And obviously that will set the grid for the race on the 18th. So yeah, should be in for a really good, interesting race there for Suzuka from the 18th of April. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. Currently still haven't got it set to open up for people to sign up yet, because we're still just finalising stuff on our website at the moment, because we just implemented a team feature in there. So we just sort of iron out all the bugs that we found so far, and yeah, hopefully that should be up in the next sort of week or so for the sign out. So yeah, do stay tuned for that and keep an eye on the website, because once that goes live, I mean, just like our last event, you know, within sort of 2 hours of putting it up, you know, these races here, like today, you know, literally filled up within 2 hours. So yeah, they definitely do fill up pretty fast. So there we are.
Tom Pottage has just, sorry to interrupt, Simon, but Tom Pottage just had a massive incident coming through turn, what I think is turn 2 or 3. And luckily it was a 1-car incident, but it was exactly what I was talking about in practice/qualifying, about just unsettling the car, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And he hit the wall a ton.
Nice, so he's going to have to jump in for a pit stop there. I see a lot of damage there on the front splitter and obviously on the back of the car as well. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be going in for a pit stop for repairs shortly.
Oh, and I've seen a pink car on the gravel, on the sand
That's
traps.
not Wolf, is it? Nope.
It might be Mitya Bonke, who's running the same livery. So maybe it was him.
Yeah, there's actually 3 guys with the same liveries in there today. He's running the same livery as Wolf. He's currently P6 at the moment, so he's done pretty well to get up to P6 already. So, you know, he started a bit earlier on. What was he got up to? I think it was about
P15 he started
15,
on.
yeah. So there you go. So he's obviously gained 9 positions from that. So
yeah, and he's slowly catching P5 Mashkovsky.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, this guy here, he won the 6-hour endurance race we did at the beginning of February there at the Nürburgring. So, yeah, he's definitely one to watch out for. So, see how he gets on with this the next sort of hour and 22 minutes. Currently P6. It'd be great to see if he does end up getting a podium later on. I mean, that would be well worth seeing that, to get from P15 to a podium.
So Simar is now back again in P10, but someone pointed out that he might be doing that to avoid driving, but now he has to overtake Villa in front of him.
Yeah,
who knows
so,
how hard Villa will make it for him, but...
Yeah, but Simard is now back up to P10, so he has gained 2 positions now, so from that early pit stop. But like I said, he is on the back end of Samuel Villa at the moment.
Yeah,
for P9.
He's on a 2-stopper. I can't see how he will do that on a 1-stop only.
We have to see. If you just said he is on engine map 1, then he's definitely going to have to go in for a second pit. So, yeah, I'll have to see what happens. I mean, like I said, what we saw in the 2.4-hour Spa race we did last Saturday, you know, and seeing a couple of guys end up going in the pit on the last lap because obviously fuel and stuff. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, strategy here is a big thing. Well, the Porsche almost loses it.
But he still is in front.
He is in front, but Samad is really going to take advantage there, as he is side by side up the hill at the moment.
Not really side by side.
It was from my camera view. It was from my camera view.
Yeah, but that is very annoying for Philippe Simard actually, as he has to get by him, and I can't believe that he just took the pit stop to avoid the traffic in front of him. I can't believe that actually. There must have been something different. Maybe he just tries some crazy strategies usually, but he basically tried almost the same move as he did with Mike Noble, but this time it didn't work.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I will jump over that, but I don't think I will. Just to say, at the moment we've still got lots of trains of cars in different areas at the moment, so lots of action going on at the moment.
Yeah, Fabian, I personally, I would love to be able to talk to Smart after this race and ask or have him explain, if he would, why pit there with 90 minutes to go. What was the strategy? Because obviously all we can do in the booth is we can kind of guess at what they're doing, but in reality, the squishy pink thing behind the wheel of that car is the only thing that knows what's going on. But if he could make it from there, which I'm not saying he can, but if he could have, that would have been brilliant. You had just gotten into a battle with Noble, and you had won that battle because you ended up back out front. What better time to pit? But again, if you can't make it, then there must be some other motive behind it, and I would love to know.
Yeah, that's
absolutely it. Yeah. I think we all want to be inside the driver's head to see what their strategies are and stuff, and their motive, but unfortunately we can only second guess as commentators.
I think he just had contact with Villa there, the lap car, coming into the final turn. But I'm unsure if I saw that or the game just wants me to think I saw.
I just want to quickly say is Simard has managed to get an overtake there. It's now put him up to P9.
No, there was no contact.
No contact indeed, and my apologies for calling Samuel Villa a lap car. He was not a lap car. My apologies.
Yeah, but it looked a bit like that because Simard rapidly steered there, so that's maybe what might have confused you. And we might have a battle coming to us with Jarcott behind James Parker. He's currently 1.8 seconds behind, but he's catching him slightly, lap after lap.
Yeah, he's at the moment, but he's it looks like James has lost a bit of time as well. He's now 10 seconds, 10.3 seconds down. So I don't know if James has actually had an incident or something.
Oh no, that's just his usual pace, I guess, or maybe his car is a bit damaged, but he loses time every lap to Noble.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm quite surprised he went for the BMW as well, because normally he's a Mercedes man, so maybe just fancied a change. So I guess that's going to keep Kevin happy if Kevin jumps in the stream and sees someone driving his BMW.
Yeah, and I guess we will have another 17 minutes until we see most of the other drivers thinking about the first pit stop. Well, at least what I what I've seen in the Porsche Cup races is that most of the drivers wait as long as they can to do their pit stop, and I guess the guys from the top 10 will do that as well, just to avoid traffic as much as possible and to not get overtaken by someone else.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this is where it's just starting to get a bit confusing when you have got a lot of back markers in between, because obviously the relatives on my broadcasting tool starts to play games with me. As we see, there's might be some overtakes, and it's not. It's just a back marker. So I'm just trying to keep an eye on the second PC, on the second stream that you guys don't see at the moment, to see if I can capture anything that's going on right now. But currently there is some action going on between P19 and P18, which is on screen at the moment. So we'll see if anything does materialise from that. So we'll just bring up a second screen now for you guys to watch what's going on with these guys.
Alright, it looks like that Charcot, who previously was in P3 and catching Parker, made a mistake as he is now behind Dimov in P4.
Absolutely. So this is interesting because Mike Noble is just behind these guys currently. Who's currently fighting for P18, P19. So this is the pace that Mike Noble's got at the moment.
And Subsea wants to know the overall gap from Simar to Noble, so I will do that quickly.
We'll check shortly. So this is going to get interesting right now because Mike Noble at the moment, if you look at the top screen at the moment, Mike Noble is closing in on P19 and P18 while these two are battling in front. But also at the same time, these two guys will be under a blue flag as well. So this is where Mike Noble probably wants to play it nicely with these guys at the moment. Is there enough of an overtake there? No, unfortunately not. So looks like all positions are currently left at the moment, so Mike Noble wanting to get past them shortly.
Well, we've made it to this point in the race, fellas, and we've got a bit of a gap between some of the drivers, and now you can take a breath. And if you are one of those drivers that has a gap, you might as well take this opportunity to take a breath yourself, because this is kind of the ebb and flow of endurance style racing. These guys, they're kind of spread apart, but as I'm sure you guys out there have seen so far in RLM's history, it never stays that way, does it? They always seem to come back together as pit strategy will start to become a thing. And I wouldn't, if I was Mike Noble, I would not be comfortable up there with my 11-second lead, because he has to know there are a bunch of drivers who are on different strategy now that are going to take a run at him. And for everybody else, you got to keep the car on the road. I said that earlier and people drove off, so I'm hoping for better luck this time, but this might as well be Monaco. I mean, it's a tough track. It's a tough track. It's a tough place. And when you go off here, you go off for a mile, as we've already seen.
Absolutely, yeah, very true. So Mike Noble has managed to get past P18, P19 there. So unfortunately, I did break up a bit of the battle that's going on between these two guys. But that's unfortunately how it is. So we'll just jump back over, see who is actually getting the battle right now. The thing is, the grid's so mixed up right now at the moment, it's hard to see again who's actually having a battle.
Philippe Simar is currently around 52 seconds behind Mike Noble. So around half a lap, more than half a lap, I guess.
Wow, okay, that's quite a gap at the moment. So yeah, at the moment, if Mike Noble carries on how he's doing, he's definitely going to be storming ahead. So I believe he's currently. We'll just jump over to Mike Noble shortly. So he is probably 12.3 seconds ahead of P2 at the moment. So yeah, James Parker is definitely losing time with the BMW here. So it'd be interesting if he was in the Mercedes to what the times would have been then. Maybe it would have been a bit more competition for Mike Noble, but unfortunately, James decided he wanted to go for the BMW, so that's his choice.
And someone asking how long is pit time here. So, to be fair, I don't know actually, but
I wouldn't say it's too long. It's not that long of a pit lane, is it? It's not like Spa.
It's not like Spa, yeah, but Spa is the only one that is so long, so that is quite an exception. But I guess around 40 seconds maybe. It depends what you will do in your pit stop. So if Simar, for example, went to change tires, that means that he will have at least 30 seconds, and maybe he had some damage as well. That gets added to these 30 seconds. But if he didn't take new tires and just fueled the car a bit, that takes a
Just
lot
a splash of
less
dash,
time.
yeah, exactly, that's right. Just saying, I'm just on currently with Wolf at the moment, P6. He's definitely catching up with P5 now. So Mikowski at the moment, who's currently P5. So definitely closing in those temps here. So this, as I said, it's going to be very interesting for Wolf. I mean, like I said, he won the 6-hour endurance race at Nürburgring, and yeah, if he can keep this pace up at the moment, he could well be on for a podium.
Yeah, Matushka's flying around this place. He had about a 5-second deficit to make up to get to this point. He's less than a second behind him. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, that driver mentality, once you can see that person and you're on the same straight as them, that changes everything. That's all the motivation you need to get in there, put your head down, and get by somebody. And I don't think he'll be behind him for very long. I think Matushka will get this 5th place back, and as you said, Simon, perhaps even get up onto the podium. That wouldn't surprise me.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, it's all down to pit strategies. We'll see what happens in the next sort of 20 minutes, because this is going to be a guarantee where a lot of people are going to be pitting now. So, yeah, so around the hour mark, so next 10 to 20 minutes is when we're going to see a lot of people pitting. So this is where it's really going to get mixed up, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what actually becomes of this. So still quite a few trains of cars going on at the moment, so still lots of battles going on across the grid. Everyone's sort of in a few temps of each other still, so no sort of overtakes right now. I don't know if that was an overtake to be on then. I think that would have been a back marker there. So that is actually Mike Noble now, who's actually now catching up with P15.
Wow.
You see Mike Noble there in the Nissan, just behind the pink Nissan. So yeah, he's now catching up with P15. So how the hell has he now managed to nearly lap these guys? That's pretty intense. So
yeah, that's a battle that's going on for 13th. This is led by Zach Williams, who has now just driven away a little bit. Probably smart on his part. It's got Victoria Thompson and Dennis Primarov in this battle as well. And if I'm Mike Noble, I am picking them. I'm trying to pick them off as quickly as I can, but also as smart as I can, because as we know, any little tap here could be detrimental.
absolutely, yeah, but Mike Noble does get past quite nicely and cleanly there, so with no one actually getting interrupted with their overtaking position, so no one actually gaining an advantage there when they actually slow down to let Mike Noble pass. So yeah, some good racing going on at the moment with these guys.
Yeah, that's how you draw it up, isn't it? You don't want to slow anybody down when you're a leader. You don't want to slow the leader up whenever you're in your own battle, perhaps off the lead lap. You want to do both parts of the job correctly, and that's what we've seen here. It's just a fantastic job by everybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I now analyzed Simar's pit stop now. So he didn't take new tires. His pit stop took around 22 seconds, which means that he definitely didn't take new tires. I haven't spotted any visual damage, so I don't know if he repaired damage, because 22 seconds for fuel is a bit much, I guess. But what I can say you is that Simar's pit stop took him around 46 seconds. So he was 46 seconds slower than he is usually with his pit stop. So I guess you will lose around 40 to 50 seconds with every pit stop.
Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, it looks like looking at 42 seconds then, looking at the comments there. So yeah, so that's definitely interesting just for a splash and dash. So yeah, I can't really see too many people actually going in for tyres unless they do end up with a puncture or something, you know, especially if they are riding these curbs and you know, hitting the sausage curbs and stuff like that. Because obviously the last thing they want is obviously have a puncture. As we just seen one of the Porsches just go off then. Who was that actually went off?
Zapsi, that time loss is actually included. So this is the total time that he lost with his pit stop, the 46 seconds.
Yes,
That
yeah,
is the
that's-
total time that he lost. So there is also the pit lane and the exit and so on included, because I compared his 2 laps which have been harmed by the pit stop to his usual lap times.
That's interesting. So it makes me interesting why he's gone in for sort of fuel so early. Then he's obviously going to be on a 2-stop strategy. So maybe that is definitely going to cost him the lead, because I mean we know Mike Noble's not going to pit for a while yet. I mean he's putting a pit straight after the hour mark. And the same with James Parker. I mean James Parker now is actually down by 17 seconds. So what's actually gone on there between James Parker and currently P2? He's losing so much time here. Maybe it's just a case of traffic.
No, he has been
maybe
slower
might
all the time.
Yeah, just reading the comment there. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe he might have felt a bit under pressure having the lights flashed at him and thought, you know what, stuff this, I'm going in for a pit now, and then I haven't got to worry about the pressure. It could well be that. Maybe it's, yeah. I mean, who knows? But I mean, again, he pitted at the 30-minute mark into the race, so like I say, he's definitely going to have to go for a second pit stop.
There is at least no damage visible on James Parker's car. It's just a bit dirty, but that shouldn't make him slower.
Yeah, I'll just jump over to James Parker. Yeah, so that's interesting. So, I mean, his lap times ain't doing too bad. 123.4. 123.37 is his last lap just then. But with Mike Noble's last lap was a 123.46. So, he's just under 1/10 faster on the last lap of Mike Noble. But, you know, he's still, so unfortunately, 17 seconds behind P1. And obviously, you know, that's going to cost him in the no matter how good of a pit strategy he has, it's going to cost him a bit of time still in the pits. So I don't think he's going to have a chance to fight Mike Noble for P1 unless something drastic happens. But I won't say that, because commentators tell us every time we do say these things do happen.
Yeah, I feel bad for talking about Jardier earlier in the race. I talk about him after I said I wasn't gonna, and look what happened. And Jardier, I'm sorry. I will never pick any driver again in this race. And guys, the Wolf Matushka in the top 5 has not appeared. It's not amassed at this point. I suspected Makowski would have been gobbled up by now. That has not occurred.
No, so what actually happened earlier on, as I was just looking through, is there was traffic between them, and that's what opened up the gap again between Wolf and Makowski. But this has obviously allowed Jardier to now catch up. So Jardier is not too far off of Wolf either. So you can just see him on the camera at the moment. He's not too far on the distance when we do get a different camera view. So we just see there's not too much difference between them. There is now a back marker between Jardier and Wolf at the moment. So yeah, it's going to get interesting. It's definitely later on in the race, like I said, with pit strategies and stuff. We could be in for a very interesting mix around, at least on the top 10 anyway, with what's going on so far. So, I mean, every time of our races, as you said last week, Jesse, you know, on our Spa 2.4 hour race, just every time, the last sort of 5-10 minutes of the race just becomes absolutely epic. So, yeah, really interesting to see what actually happens.
We've just got some inside information from our spy Zapsi, who is telling us that Jardier plans on a tire change to fix his pressures. So I guess we will see him in a few laps.
Oh,
so thank you to our spy Zapsi.
I love having the chats open, because you learn so much from them, because they follow these other guys that broadcast their races, and they can come in here and they can tell us stuff. So thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's interesting. So that's going to make interesting for Jardier if he's going to pit for tyres. So that's going to lose him, because we reckon that's about 30 seconds for tyre change and fuel. So that's obviously 8 seconds loss there through the pit strategy then. So yeah, that is going to change things up. So maybe Jardier will actually lose. We're saying that he is just over about 4 or 5 seconds, about 4.5 seconds off of or in front of Smith at the moment, who's P8. So this could get interesting. He might lose one position from his pit strategy, but we'll see. It depends if Smith ends up going in for tyres as well. So if that is the case, if he goes in for tyres, he might just lose one position. But we'll see what happens in the next sort of next sort of 10 minutes or so, because this is where I'm guessing everyone will be going for the pits. So we have got one person in the pits at the moment. So Jakob is currently in the pits now. I say one person, but also Darren King is in the pits as well. P32. I believe the rest of them are actually people. So Nicholas Ridge, I think he's in the pits as well. Yeah, so we've got a couple of people that have retired that are sat in the pits. So that is going to confuse us shortly. But we'll just jump over to Wolf again, because again he is closing that gap down again on Mikowski for P4 now. So that's interesting. So Jakob obviously pitted in early then. That's obviously put Wolf and Mikowski up by one position. So this is going to be very interesting now, as Wolf is now very close to Mikowski at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see if these guys do follow each other into the pits and they keep that battle going, or whether one will just stay out for longer, for maybe a lap or two longer. We will stay with these and see what happens here.
Yeah, Matushka making his own chicane coming into the final turn. He didn't know. He didn't want to be behind the car going to pit road. He didn't want to be behind Mikowski. He wanted his own lane, so accidentally made his own chicane there. No harm, no foul by anybody, as he gets the proper exit. And now the game is on. They were this close earlier and nothing happened. You have to wonder, does Matushka feel any pressure at this time to try and get by Mikowski? You would assume so, right? I mean, you're here to gain positions in race, but
Absolutely.
He's played this very calm. He's been very calm.
So this is getting very interesting now, as also for currently P2 at the moment is Garlin in P3 is catching up with James Parker. So I've got that up in the top corner in the preview there for you guys. So just to see what's going to happen there with these guys who are currently P2. But we will stay with Wolf for a minute, because again, there could be anything happening between these guys as well. So this is interesting. So Garlin has gone in for the pits early. So he decided to do a 50-50 split on his pit.
And maybe he also wants to do a little undercut on the driver in front, just like Wolf Matushka, who is also coming into the pits.
Now this is getting interesting. So yeah, so this is where people start going for the halfway mark now.
Yeah, that definitely makes it interesting, as we now have two drivers with two different strategies. So maybe we will see Parker and Maszkowski coming into the pits in the next lap as well. And maybe they will try to extend their stint. They will have to have a look on the traffic now. So let's see for which strategy they will decide.
Absolutely, yeah. So the sun is starting to set now as well. So this is going to get very interesting. Like I said, as we start to go into the night time. So I don't know if anyone's actually decided to race here in the night at Laguna Seca, but I mean, I don't think I have actually. This will be quite interesting to see what it looks like when the sun goes down, especially going through the corkscrew as well. That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I guess it won't be that astonishing like Bathurst or Kyalami, but as you say, the corkscrew might get a little bit blind with just the headlights on. Absolutely,
yeah. So James Parker is going for a pit a lap later, so still holding P2 at the moment. We'll see what's happening to Jardu, who's currently P4 now. So Jardu is going to stay out even longer, so maybe he's just going to try and push hard with the tyres he's got now, because we know he's going to be wanting to go into a tyre change at some point.
And Maszkowski also staying out.
Yeah, this is interesting actually, because the Mercedes, normally you have to pit around the hour mark unless you're on map 2 or something. So this is quite interesting to see Jarda out for more than an hour in the car.
Alright, thanks for the information. Jardia only has 2 laps of fuel remaining.
There we go. So yeah, he's definitely going to be pitting soon then. So maybe he did do a bit of fuel saving at some point, but he has been on map 1 as well. So maybe the fuel consumption of the Mercedes has increased in a patch somewhere. So there we are. So at the moment, Jardia now currently P3. Mike Noble is gone into the pits now, so the leader is in the pits. So Mikowski will be looking to go in the pits as well at some point. So we said we had Wolf earlier on, who was behind Mikowski. He went in the pits probably about two laps before Mikowski is. So we'll see if Mikowski goes in the pits now. I'm sure he should.
And looking at Wolf Matuszka's view there,
He's not. He's staying out. Sorry, yeah.
It looks like that he basically spotted the perfect spot for him. He is in no man's land right now. He is nowhere in front of no one in front of him, and no one behind him. Not even a back marker. So that's perfect for him.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is a nice opportunity for him to start to claw some pace back and hopefully open up that gap. So it'll be interesting to see if he does actually come in front of Mikowski, who's currently now P1. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So we'll just jump back over to Mikowski at the moment because I'm sure he's going to be going for a pit at some point, maybe this lap.
Yeah, he can't have too much fuel left in that thing, can he? He's wringing every last drop out of it here, and he just passed several cars as he goes a little wide. Easy, Mikowski. Easy, buddy, as he comes up to the corkscrew. That was almost dangerous there, but he gathers it in, and I assume he's coming into pit this time by, but then again, I assumed at Spa they would only need one pit stop, so, you know, what do I really know?
And have you already noticed that Mike Noble was in the pits as well?
Yes, I did point that out a bit earlier on when he went in the pits, but yeah, thanks
right.
for the info. So Boris P26 is coming out the pits.
Yeah, and Mikowski goes around again. There you have it. The most economical car so far.
Absolutely. To be honest, I mean, I do enjoy driving the Porsche in this game, actually. So, sorry, the sim. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the Porsche and the McLaren 720S is it's my favourite cars in here at the moment. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you guys actually like. What's your sort of cars that you enjoy racing the most at the moment in ACC?
Definitely not the Audi, as it tries to kill me too often.
Is that right? You don't like the Audi?
Oh.
Yeah, I like the handling of the Audi, but it tries to kill me too often.
Oh, I see.
I mean, it's kind of a snitch. It gives you the feeling that it feels really nice, and you have to set it up quite good. You have to invest much time into the setup, but then it feels quite nice, and then you're in the race, and something unusual happens, and then you're out of the race.
See, because that would be my favorite car. I think my favorite car in general is the old Jag, but if I had to pick a current car, as Mikowski is finally coming into pit road after taking several extra laps than we assumed he would take. Is there any
the Jag? Oh yes, the Jag.
Is there any maybe one of you could tell me? Is there any reason why you would stay out this long? Is there any way that he can get an advantage here?
I wouldn't say so, really. I mean, the only time you probably get more advantage if the race was a bit longer and you had to get change tyres. That might be the only advantage, but. Yeah, no, realistically, I can't say it is. I mean, because if you looked at his Mikowski's last couple of laps, he's made mistakes on both of those laps there, so that has cost him dearly. While we've got Wolf on the screen at the moment, he hasn't really made any mistakes. He's doing pretty well at the moment. Actually, getting his fastest lap of the race actually on his last lap there, also of the race, sorry, sort of his actual fastest lap. So. Yeah, so this is where I think Wolf will actually end up being ahead of Mikowski now, as it looks like Wolf has managed to get the pass, as Mikowski is coming out the pit lane. And the Wolf, as we see now, has come down to get ahead of Mikowski. So there we go. So that just goes to show there. So obviously Wolf pitting a couple of laps earlier on, as gaining that position. So he now gets P6. No, he gets P7. Sorry, I'm just looking at the wrong table there again, so I do apologise. So Wolf is now currently P7 with Mikowski losing the position there, putting him up to P8. So yeah, there we go. So just goes to show that Mikowski staying out for 2 more laps longer actually cost him a position there.
As Subsea mentioned in the chat pointed out that Philippe Simard is now around 1.3 seconds behind Noble. Well, actually, it is now 2.7 seconds. So that strategy definitely didn't work out for Philippe Simard, as he still has to do another pit stop, I guess.
Yeah, he will. That's right.
Sorry. Sorry, Simon. Also, as pointed out earlier, stop and go penalty for Vicky, who came in and made light of it here in our Twitch chat. But interesting. You don't really. We did. That's the first one I had seen, but I was unsure exactly what caused it. But that's done and taken care of. Elvin Smith leading this race currently in the big bad Bentley, or the Boatley as it's sometimes referred. Has he not pitted yet, guys?
No, he hasn't yet. No, you're right. He hasn't pit yet. So this is going to get interesting. So the big tank is actually very good on fuel.
He's going around again.
That is interesting.
Oh my! There's so many things we don't know. Was he fuel saving at some point? Was he just more economical? Don't know. But one thing's for sure, he's getting some TV time right now. We're talking about him, and he's out front of this field.
Absolutely. Yeah, we want the EC map on the boat. Yeah, well, you call it a boat, we call it a tank.
There was some questions going on about Noble's strategy, and I had a look at his pit stop times. His pit stop took around 32 seconds, so I guess he took new tires, which would be a benefit for the last few laps. And also that is logical, as he has quite a big of a gap to the cars behind him, and doing the safe strategy to just have a little bit longer pit stop but have fresher tires will probably help for him.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it makes sense really, doesn't it, to do that if he's got that such a gap. To go in for fresh tyres is definitely going to extend his lead later on. Later on into the race, I'm just.
So guys, I just read that Elvin Smith still has 15 laps of fuel left, and I'm not sure if that's a joke.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I'm unsure. The only reason I bring it up is because did we miss Elvin Smith pitting at some point earlier in the race where he is capable of doing this?
No,
I don't think. No, he hasn't pitted yet. Yeah, I was going to say that. I mean, that's why sometimes it's good to have a mandatory pit, and then at least then we know who is actually pitted. Where obviously this time it is just purely strategy.
It's actually not a joke by 27 Detox, so that's crazy. If he still has 50 laps of fuel left, I
have a lot of questions.
I guess then he can pretty easily run 90 minutes easily. Wait, 15 laps he can still go. He won't do the whole race on one stop, on no stop. That won't be possible, but he will go very close. He will go very far with that tank.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I guess for the drivers in our second split, which is the Pro AM split, where the race is 1.5 hours long, I guess the Bentley is an OP choice there.
Yeah, it's good to see the British car doing so well actually in this new DLC. You know, that Bathurst it's doing pretty well, and obviously here at Laguna Seca it's doing pretty well.
It's still driving on the wrong side.
Oh, we ain't starting that again. No, it's the correct side.
I will stay neutral in this argument.
Well, but doesn't the USA also have driving on the right-hand side?
Bobby and I said I was staying neutral in this as Mike Noble is chasing down the leader, Elvin Smith. On to you guys.
He is, absolutely. So, yeah, it's going to get very interesting now. I mean, like I said, Smith has got a pit, so, I mean, it'd be silly for him to actually defend on Mike Noble here at the moment because he's still going to lose that position.
Yeah, but it would also be a little bit silly for Mike Noble to send it now, as he knows Philippe Simard is 5 seconds behind him. He has quite a good gap. and
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
next driver is actually another 22 seconds behind him, which is 27 seconds between Nobel and Parker. But let's see what he will
He's
do.
still out. He's not going in, is he? I don't think he's going to go in again, is he? And he has. Yeah, he has decided to go in. That just that caught me off then a minute ago. It looked like it was actually the pit exit he drove past. It wasn't, but he has decided to go in for the pit now. So we obviously, as we said, we know it's going to cost him about 40 plus seconds for his pit. So I'm guessing it's going to put him down to probably about P9, P10 even. We'll see how this comes about.
I don't want to jinx it yet, but it looks like that my prediction might actually be true this time. The first time, actually. The first predictions that I did on the last Porsche Cup races were quite horrible.
We've got an interesting battle going on at the moment for P5 and P6. So we'll see if anything materialises from this with these guys at the moment. So it looks like the sun is starting to set now. So it will start to get dark. So still got 46 minutes left of the race, so I guess we've got about an hour and a half of in-game time, so it should take us up to about 9:30 PM in the game. So yeah, we should be finishing off in the dark, night time.
Wow, Simon, you're a math wizard.
Oh yes.
And Smith is also changing his tires, as 27 detox reports.
There we go. So if he's changing his tyres, then that's that's going to be obviously. We're looking at 50 odd seconds, aren't we, then, for that? So maybe 52 seconds for a whole pit. So that's probably going to put him down to say P8, P9 at the moment he is then. So yeah, it wasn't a bad guess then. I said between P9 and P10.
So yeah, so it is very interesting where he will end his this race. He just wow! The Bentley is so stable. He actually cut one of the big bumps there. The anti-cut curbs, but the Bentley didn't really notice it. It just went over it without any problems. Other cars like the Audi or the Ferrari, that would have probably killed them, but Bentley is just so easy on them. So yeah, Smith currently 7.8 seconds behind Jardier. So maybe there is a chance for him scoring the 8th place.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting for sure. I'll get a nice sunset view there for you guys.
So, and I guess now everyone should have done his pit stops, so everything should be clean now for us commentators, without guessing if anyone hasn't done a stop yet or has done one yet.
Absolutely, yes. So Mike Noble's still currently P1. Simard, it's going to be interesting to see if he ends up pitting in the next sort of 15 minutes or so, because again, who's currently P2 at the moment he pitted 30 minutes into the race, which is very interesting. He was currently the leader of the race, so he pitted very early on. So this time he's gone in for a 2-stop strategy, which is going to cost him big time, I think, because if he goes in again for another splash and dash, again we're looking at probably like about 42 seconds again. So that might actually put him down to about P9, P10 as well. So yeah, probably not the best of ideas to go for a 2-stopper there. So we'll just have to see what actually happens. Yeah, Fabian, just see if he's still running engine map 1. See if he decided to start saving fuel, whether he will be having to go in for a second pit stop.
He does run map 1.
So he's running map 1, so yeah, it looks like he will be going in for a pit stop at some point then. So that is a bit of a shame. Still currently got the battle going on for P5 at the moment and P4. Jardier didn't obviously have as good a pit strategy because he's currently P8 as well, so he's lost a couple positions.
Yeah, Simon, I think somebody in chat mentioned that Jardier forgot to turn the car off in pit lane and lost the better part of a second.
Oh no!
Sitting in pit road trying to turn the car off, and I whether or not that happened, it feels like it happened. At least it looks like it does based on timing and scoring, that his pit stop was a little bit longer than most of the other guys. What a way to lose time.
It is,
and
yeah.
it's happening now. Simar is in the pits.
Now that's interesting, yeah. So my prediction is then if he's going into pits this earlier on, You know, again, each going to be down about P9, P10. So, unfortunately, not the best strategy for him, unfortunately. But yeah, maybe he might learn from this. But I mean, it's a shame to see because he did awesome qualifying lap. You know, and obviously holding P1 for the sort of first half an hour of the race. You know, having a good battle between him and Mike Noble. You know, come that last sort of 30 minutes. That's obviously end up, you know, only being in the top 10 from that. But what is interesting is at the moment. This is a battle going on between Wolf at the moment and Mikulski at the moment. So they're actually battling out at the moment for P5. So this is going to get interesting.
Yeah, it's basically same song, different verse. Bobby, you got something for us?
yeah, Krzysztof Maszkowski came pretty close to Wolf Matuszka there, but he just braked it. But he almost touched Wolf Matuszka there, and I can tell you the Audi isn't so stable that you can run into his back without spinning.
Well, for these two drivers, it's the same song, different verse, because they spent the better part of the first half of this race together, just Matuszka behind Mikulski, and now it is the reverse of that, obviously, but they've not let up at all. It's been, I don't know how many laps now, about 5 or 6, and Mikulski has not let Matuszka go. So this is an interesting battle to watch because it refuses to go away.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to get interesting. Sorry, Fabian, let you carry on.
And Simar Jace just came 1 second in front of Smith out of the pits. So he is currently P8, Philippe Simar.
So he didn't have to do too bad then. I did predict sort of P9, P10. He's come out P8, so he's got a good battle on his hand. I mean, what is the gap between him and Jada at the moment? Trying to get a relative
4.
there. It's a 4.5. So yeah, he's got a lot to make up there. 4.5 seconds in the next 40 minutes. We know it's possible. Yeah, we just to see what happens. See what can actually materialise on this. Unfortunately, I don't think Simard will get a chance to get a podium though with the gap he's got. If we're looking at about 50 seconds from the race leader at the moment to his position.
Yeah, I think it should be said. I'm not sure. I was watching Smart's pit stop. He wasn't there, or at least in my mind, he wasn't there for a whole long period of time. It's almost like he either didn't take tires or fuel because, again, he's just, for me, maybe Fabian, you can check on that, or because he just didn't seem like he sat there for very long.
I will do that.
Yeah, that'd be good to know. So this is going to get really, really interesting now. As we've got who's actually in the Lambo there, just in front of us. He's one of the back markers by the looks of it. So Mikulski has got the run as he's trying to get the inside line, but Wolf does block him there to send him onto the outside. But unfortunately, it's not enough to get the inside line again. Still off the T2, so he's going to stay where he is. So T1 there.
So his stop lasted around 35 seconds, so I guess he took new tires.
Interesting, yeah. So he's lost about 50 seconds there, hasn't he?
That's fantastic. Thank you, Fabian, for looking in on that. Like I said, it didn't seem like he did both, you know?
Yeah, that's a bit of a shame that we can't see the pit stop animations on our end, as only the driver sees it. That would be perfect. I guess it's hard to implement, but that would be perfect if we could see that the pit stop crew
changing tires. Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. I guess maybe once hardware starts to improve, and then obviously maybe ACC or the Kunos devs can actually implement things like that. Because at the moment, I mean, the main cry out at the moment is, how demanding this game is, to run. But then you've got to be expected, it is a next-gen sim. I mean, would you rather have a sim that is easy to run now and looks crap in the next couple of years? Excuse my language, but or would you rather have a game that, doesn't run at its best at the moment, with performance because of the local staff, and then obviously in the next sort of year or two it will improve and become better. I'm up for that. So, I know this game's going to be around for a little while, and it's going to age very well for sure. I keep saying game, it's sim. I even had to correct one of the devs the other day when he was chatting in our thing saying about the game, and I was like, cross the line through this game. It's like, no, it's sim, and he's like, oh yes.
well, you know, it is a video game, but it is a simulation.
Absolutely,
for those, I call it a game. I mean, absolutely no disrespect. This is a very good sim. I just call it a game because I'm rather old.
Absolutely, but I mean, to be honest, I think because of the amount of data and stuff that they've got from the cars, you know, to try and make it as realistic to the real life series as possible, you know, I think that's why it's more classed as a sim. But yeah, sim, I don't know. There we are, but it's
absolutely fantastic, isn't it? I mean, they have...
It's almost a contact there between Moskowski there and the back mark of the Lambo there, but still, there's a battle still on there. So yeah, sorry to jump in there, Jesse.
No, by all means. It's fantastic racing we're seeing here, and, you know, good on to Tobias Queck there for, you know, not calling an incident and letting the two get by, as this battle that we're watching just continues to occur. And you have to assume Makowski is taking it easy here, but he's also looking for any sort of opportunity to stick his nose down in there. But they've been incredibly respectful so far. But back to the game sim thing, ACC is fantastic.
It's started. That's to say, it's starting in the chat here now at the moment. Game. It's like, what?
Well, it's fantastic to the point where each car has its own engine map. It has its own characteristics. It has its own facts and figures. And that's a sim, isn't it? I mean, it's
absolutely
just as accurate as it can possibly be on the hardware that we have.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just phenomenal. I mean, you know, for a lot of people, you know, trying to probably get into the real life motorsports, you know, a lot of the drivers there, unless they're sort of platinum drivers, you know, they don't really get paid for it. Half the time, you've got to end up actually paying to race before you actually make a career out of it. You know, I mean, I've had a good chat with David Perrell about this, you know, and he basically explained, you know, that he had to fund his way into the race to get to where he is now, you know, to then start to make some money from it. So there you go. So still at the moment nothing really changing between P5 and 6 moment, just literally awesome battling going on between them, but not enough to try and get the inside, as he does try to go for it, but it's not enough, I don't think.
Ooh.
As he is almost side by side at the moment with Wolf. I'll just try and get a better camera
They
angle
are
there.
side by side, but it is enough for Wolf Matuszka.
It's not, but the back marker Lambo is now trying to have trying to take action here.
And we also have three guys fighting for P2 now, with James Parker, Jakub Jarkot, and Garlin Dimov. Sorry.
We don't need this right now. Not again. Not again. This happened last time. We had so many battles going on right near the end of the race. It was just absolutely insane. But yeah, we'll see what's going on here. But like I said, you know, there is something materialising here, free way for to get P2 at the moment. So this is going to get very interesting for the race.
You got to believe Mike Noble's looking at this split going, yeah, come on. Somebody challenge Parker now. Give me a little bit more of a gap. Because, I mean, that's you're in the business to win, and you want the best chance to win, and the best chance to win is when second and third place are fighting each other. So this is all going Mike Noble's way here in the final 34 minutes of this race. It's just fantastic. And, guys, it's like I promised you before. It always comes back together in the end. We're 33 and some seconds away from the finish line. I cannot explain how RLM always does it, but these things always come back together.
Absolutely, yeah. So
Alvin Smith just came into the pits. Philippe Simard was closing the gap to him, but now
did he have a interesting? Maybe he messed up his pit strategy. Maybe he got tires and get fuel. That's very interesting to see him in there. Something to find out later on, and when we get a chat with him, see what's going on there. So, great to see. So, yeah, thanks for following there, guys. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, we're obviously streaming to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, please. That'd be much appreciated. And obviously, if you're following Twitch, don't forget to hit that follow button. And also, if you are an Amazon Prime customer, you can obviously subscribe to us for free. So, and obviously, it helps support us. So please do. Much appreciated. Thank you. Well, this is interesting. So yeah, Mike. So if he's not chatting in stream, then obviously he is concentrating. I'll just jump over quickly with Mike Nova, see what's going on here. He's obviously having a bit of some back markers in front there at the moment. So yeah, thanks for following there, guys. Really appreciate that. Well, thanks for the subscribing there, Arrival.
Oh, and Krzysztof Maszkowski is so close to Wolf Matuszka now.
Oh, this is. I say this is going to get interesting. I think what I'm going to have to do.
Yeah, I think you have to do.
I'm gonna double screen on both positions once I try and find the. Still got so many cars on the track at the moment.
Yeah, they were 3 wide with a lap car coming down the front straight into the turn 1 hairpin. Absolutely fantastic driving by all 3 drivers. And where have we heard this before? Matuszka just noses back out front, and it's game back on.
Absolutely. So, so top left, we've got currently P6 battling out for P5 with Wolf at the moment. So, and also at the bottom right, we have P2 James Parker with Jakub obviously battling out, and also in P4 behind is Garlin, who's also there, all ready to perhaps try and take P2 off of James Parker. So. Yeah, we'll stay with this camera for a minute so we can capture both actions that's going to go on. So it's going to get very interesting in the next sort of 10-20 minutes or so. We'll see how James is going to cope under pressure because, again, it's the first time in the BMW for him, actually. So I'm very surprised he picked the BMW for the race because generally he usually goes for the Mercedes or something like that. So, yeah, it's so far been pretty competitive, but he's not. Just looking at his lap times, actually. So his last lap was a 1:23.1. James Parker, where just look at Jakub at the moment, it's a 1:22.8, so he's almost 2 tenths or just over 2 tenths faster on the last lap. Jakub is, so he's definitely closing the gap there on James with P2 at the moment. And Garlin, who's currently P4, is got managed a 1:22.6, so again he's 4 tenths quicker than James Parker on the last lap, and just under 2 tenths quicker than Jakub, who's in front there. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to go on here with these guys. So some great opportunities to be had here. So as I was saying and predicted earlier on, the top 10 is definitely going to be changing quite a lot in the next sort of 30 minutes.
And Garlin went a bit wide, but that didn't cost him too much time as he's closing the gap to Charcot and Parker there.
Yeah, that is interesting. We'll just see how this materializes. So,
I gotta say, I've seen quite a few fans of the BMW in chat today talking about how that was perhaps a bit of a brave choice. I guess the BOP, I don't really drive the BMW myself, but apparently its BOP is a little off on some of the tracks, and a lot of fans of it, a lot of respect being given to driving that, and the old Aston, by the way, the V12 Aston. A lot of fans of those cars. Love to see them in the race as well.
Absolutely, yeah, it's definitely getting more interesting now as Jakub is really closing up on Parker. So we're going to see what happens here. Just quickly, yeah, thanks for the follow there, guys. Really appreciate you obviously doing that. So do keep them coming, thank you. So BMW is one of the best boats. Well, to be honest, I think it's on par with the Bentley. Oh, so it looks like Jakub made a bit of a mistake there. Loses P3, which then obviously takes puts him back to P4 now. So that's allowed Garlin to take P3. So this is obviously taking a bit of pressure off James Parker for P2. So that's good, pretty interesting now.
Yeah, perhaps it has taken a little bit of the pressure off, but now you got Dimov right behind you, and if he caught Charcot, that means he can catch you too, James Parker. So he's not out of the woods. What do they say? Out of the frying pan into the fryer or something like that. So he's going to have a Porsche beating down his backside instead of a Ferrari now. So the rules change, but the game stays the same here today.
Absolutely, yeah. He needs to make that BMW tank, as wide as possible. Just close off BMW any opportunities.
Oh, and the Porsche of Maszkowski tries to go down the inside.
I just don't think it was enough there, was it? I will just bring it on to Helicam there as well, so we can just get that in the top left corners there, guys. But I don't think there will be a change yet at the moment for currently for P5. So we'll stay with it at the moment.
No, there isn't. Maszkowski basically tried the same as a few laps before. It's basically the same move, but it didn't work out again. But
that is
he's so close to
unfortunate.
him.
So at the moment, Giardio is 7 seconds, or just over 7 seconds behind Michalski at the moment. So these guys haven't got too much to worry about, as they have got a back marker in front of them at the moment, and they've got a couple of back markers behind them as well. So just going to play their cards right here. So this is where Michalski might try and play his cards here on the back marker in front and hopefully get the pass. But we'll stay with it at the moment. But also, obviously, the bottom right as well is there's still the battle going on here currently for P2. So James Parker's still holding P2 at the moment, but we do have Garlin at the moment, P3, who is closing.
So much momentum there, and Wolf.
He has blocked him.
To the inside.
He did, yes. I saw this earlier on. Was on board with Michalski. That looks like one of the back markers has gone off the T1 there. Yeah. So yes, Wolf does defend that inside. He knows which lines to defend there, so he is keeping him on his toes, Michalski. So Michalski's going to have to do some serious thinking how he's going to try and get past Wolf. So he's definitely very hard. As it looks like Michalski's made a small mistake there going off the track, but he's still in the game at the moment.
Yeah, it almost looks like Wolf Matuszka actually drives the BMW as wide as he makes his Audi.
I don't know if there was a little bit of contact there between James Parker and Garlin as they come through the corkscrew there, but it did obviously upset the Porsche as well, which pulled the Porsche back. So I probably won't be able to capture that. Just if one of you guys could have a quick look and just see if there was actually contact there, that'd be great.
Contact, yeah.
Absolutely.
It was Garlin Dimov who almost ran into the back of James Parker in the corkscrew, but it was only a light tap, not enough to spin James Parker.
There we go. So interesting stuff. So Michalski again, is he going to try and get the run up again through?
I don't know where to look at, as I only have one screen.
If I had to guess, he's going to keep trying that move because eventually he's either going to end up in the sand or by Matuszka. He keeps showing Matuszka his nose. Matuszka has to know that Michalski's going to keep trying that move and hope that he never gets it straight up beside him, because he is showing his teeth right now. Michalski is. He wants to get by Matuszka, but he's again doing it very respectfully. He's driving him like a gentleman, and I wouldn't expect anything less in the pro tier. And it's just been absolute delight to watch by these two guys out there just putting on a show.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just been absolutely incredible here. So again, even for we'll say at the moment James Parker and Garland at the moment, going to be interesting to see what actually materializes from this. So a lot of pressure to have for the next 24 to just under 25 minutes actually of the race left. So this is where they don't want to be making any mistakes now. They want to be literally just stay as focused as they can, be not too worried about the car behind, just making sure you obviously close those doors. You know, don't leave those doors open, because obviously this is where the opportunity will arise. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. It's just a matter of time when something's going to happen. But Michalski has got the
Michalski has the better line.
He has, yeah.
Ran a bit wide. And he's on the inside, but is it enough?
He has got the inside. He has managed to keep Wolf there, so it looks like he might actually get the pass here. He has managed to get the pass there, so Wolf did play safe there. Unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to get the inside line there, unfortunately, for the second
see
apex.
How close P2 to P4 are now. They are basically in between 5/10.
Yeah, there's not much between them at the moment, is there, between them? Again, it's just, this could be very costly.
Yeah, and I guess even the battle between Krzysztof Maszkowski and Wolf Matuszka isn't over yet, so
absolutely
this
not.
will get very interesting. I hope this endures for the entire 23 minutes that we still have left there in the race.
To be honest, if we get these sort of guys signing up for the 12-hour Suzuka race, then we're going to be in for an absolute awesome race, you know, for those 12 hours. So yeah, it's just pretty good to see what's happening. But as I said, Garlin is so close now to James Parker at the moment. As I said, the bottom right corner at the moment is currently P2, P3, P4 there. So again, you know, it's just a matter of time that one person's going to make a mistake here, you know, and gain a position. So we did see earlier on that Jakob did make a mistake in losing P3, but he's still in the battle at the moment with these 3 guys. So we'll see what happens there. But at the moment, it looks like Mikulski has managed to pull away from Wolf now, but he is up on a back marker at the moment. So Mikulski doesn't want to lose too much time behind him. There's a nice pass there, but it looks like Wolf will have to now try and get past as well safely and hopefully keep the battle going. But there is quite a bit of a gap at the moment between them.
Yeah, sadly, but that means that we can now fully concentrate on the battle between P2,
Nope.
P3, and P4.
Absolutely, yeah.
Dimov is very, very close always. Oh, James Parker in the grass.
He has made a mistake, but he has
grass, it's
the sand, yeah. But he did obviously keep the
progress.
inside line there, so he did manage to protect himself and defend that position. So nicely done there for James. He's obviously starting to feel the pressure now. He's not what he wanted to see near this end of the race. He was hoping to obviously get away, you know, like Mike Nobu, who's quite happily sat in P1 at the moment with no pressure on him. So he's obviously going to take the win home for him. But yeah, at the moment, this could be anyone's race here between these 3 guys for P2 at the moment.
Oh, and it looks like that we've lost Philippe Simard. I can't see him on the timetables anymore. And we've lost a lot of drivers, actually. Around half the grid we've lost.
That's interesting. Yeah, we are actually down to 22 drivers now, actually. Yes, that's quite interesting to lose so many drivers within.
Oh,
an
and
earlier
Dimov
sort of
is on the sand! But that's already not enough for Charcot to catch him. So a bit of fresh air for James Parker now, as he has a bit of a gap.
He has, yeah. So the battle is going on at the moment for P3 behind at the moment, James Parker. So we're at the back of James Parker car in the top right at the moment, but we will just jump over onto Garlin so we can get the rear end of Garlin at the moment with the battle going on.
This has just been a fantastic couple of battles. You know, my hat's off to Mikulski, who finally got the pass done, and to these 3 drivers fighting over the second spot of the podium. Don't tell them that this isn't a championship or anything. Don't tell them this is a single race just for fun. Every single one of these drivers want it, and they want to compete, and they are putting on a show for us today. And James Parker, who got a little bit of a breather, but I don't think he's going to be getting one for very long, as Dimov has absolutely. He's already, I was looking at the time of scoring. He's already closed that gap a little bit. You have to wonder how much he's mirror driving versus driving out of the windshield here. But so far, none of these drivers, meaning all 3 of them, fighting for second place, has blinked, and that is impressive.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've got a rear bumper at the moment of Garlin there. We'll try and capture some nice action there.
I mean, if you look at all 3 drivers, Garlin Dimov might actually have the hardest situation there, as he not only has a driver in front of him that he tries to overtake, but he also has someone behind him that tries to overtake him. And all the other drivers, so James Parker and Charcot, can only concentrate on this one driver, which is Garlin Dimov.
Absolutely, yeah.
He has to concentrate on 2.
So yeah, interesting question in the chat as well about the BOP. So should we actually stick some BOP on Noble for next races, just to so he has a bit more competition?
Yeah, he has to drive with the Jaguar in the next race.
We'll give him 100 kilos ballast. There we go.
or let's him drive the Porsche Cup car.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We have many ways to punish him.
Absolutely, yeah. Even the T-Rex, actually, that's a bit of a handful as well.
Or just walking. Let's see if he's still that fast without a car.
Absolutely, yeah. See if he can run around Laguna Seca 73 times.
And Dimov has a very good run now, and they're very close again. So all three are very close together.
Absolutely, yeah. So we see Jakob has got a bit of damage, front end damage there. As you see his bumpers dropped off a bit on the sides. Oh, so nice sparks there coming out the back of Garland's car then. We just caught on the camera. That's pretty cool. So yeah, this is going to get very interesting again for P2 at the moment. So 3 guys here, P4, P3, P2, all battling out at the moment for the next sort of 17 minutes. So yeah, it's going to be very intense, very interesting to see what happens. And obviously, we've got back markers ahead of James Parker as well. So this is where this can be very crucial to him, where he gets the overtakes right and don't lose too much time. Hopefully, he can gain advantages here and make the guys behind lose the time. But we'll have to see what happens here at the moment. Materializes. Yeah, guys, just have a quick look, see if there's anything else that's happening down the grid at the moment. So it looks like there's time that's flicking over the place. I mean, just to see if there's anything going on.
Yeah, there's a battle for P10. Pimenov and Yefanov, quite a similar name to me, are battling for P10 now.
Nice, okay, I might jump over to them shortly. So yeah, so far at the moment, it seems like deja vu so far. So it seems like every lap so far is pretty much the same between these 3 guys. They're really not much in it at the moment.
And Zapsi's right. Jardia is now hunting Matushka, SVZ, the yellow Porsche, or is it green? I don't know. Is going to the inside, so maybe there will be an overtake now.
So that might be interesting, because that's interesting, because Jardia was about 7 seconds behind of Wolf earlier on, or actually behind Mikulski actually at the time. He was 7 seconds, so he's now gained 6 seconds there. So that's pretty interesting to see. So yeah, like I said, you know, it looks like we're going to have some pretty interesting battles going on for the top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, we were told part of Jardier's strategy was going to be whenever he pitted, he was going to massively change his tire pressure to better fit the evening temperatures of the track, and hopefully that would work in his favor as far as speed. And not saying that, you know, they're the only team that had that strategy, but certainly it has absolutely worked.
I don't know what's actually happened here, but
Jardia got actually by.
Jardia has actually managed to get past. Yeah, that's interesting.
Have a look at the replay.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah,
guys, unfortunately, I haven't got the right.
Yeah, in the no, it's quite all right. In the final turn, it looked like Matushka, he went to, or Jardier went to the inside of Matushka, and Matushka just sort of led him by, so to speak.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as Garland's just made a big mistake there, as just gone off the track, so he is now down to P4. No, he's not. What's going on? What is actually going on here? So Garland made a big mistake.
But Jakob as well, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like they both made a mistake, so he didn't actually lose a position there. So that's now actually put James Parker with no pressure on him. So that's interesting.
Oh, I think there was contact. Yes, there was contact between Garland Dimov and Jarkot.
I don't know if I can get it there, so I've got the last minute up. We'll see if there was contact. I don't know if the replay is long enough to capture it, but we'll just keep it on board. Was there contact?
It was in the corner after the corkscrew, the long left.
So it looks like we might just get it then. So we'll just see if it is here. Yes, so there is contact there. So that's what happened there between P3 and P4. So that's such a shame to see, but obviously that takes the pressure off James Parker for P2 now. That is such a shame to see that, unfortunately, so near the end of the race.
Yeah, you never want to see 2 cars make contact and completely destroy their chances in the race, obviously, but sometimes it happens, and they were together for so long, it just seemed almost inevitable.
Yeah, so this is obviously getting interesting, I said, because obviously it's getting colder now, 22 degrees ambient. We was at 27 degrees earlier on, so we have dropped 5 degrees at the moment over the time. So yeah, interesting to see that Jardia has obviously changed his tyre pressures, and obviously he's really improving his times now. So he's got a couple of back markers in front of him by the looks of it. So yeah, doing pretty well at the moment, Jada. So yeah, so just goes to show from earlier on, we obviously lost a few positions. He has managed to claw it back up again. So I don't know if it'd be enough for him to end up getting a podium spot. I mean, there's quite a big gap there between him and P5 at the moment. So 4 seconds off him, probably about 7 seconds off with P4. So yeah, we're probably looking about 15 seconds to P2, or to get P3, sorry. So 15 seconds to get to P3. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen there. I don't think it'll be enough, unfortunately. So what would be interesting is actually to find out what actually happened in the Pro-Am tier and the Am tier, because obviously that wasn't actually recorded. So if anyone's in the chat, let us know how your race went for those two tiers. Be good to know, because again, obviously it was only a 90-minute race in the Pro-Am and a 60-minute race in the Am tier. Where obviously the Pro class we're in at the moment, we're streaming, it was a 2-hour race. So yeah, Smith retires. I don't know why Smith decided to retire. So that's the Bentley out then. Yeah, it was. It's such a shame, yeah, because it was. It did look good when he was leading the race for a bit, and obviously, he did obviously drop down to P9 or P10 at that time when he went for his pit stop. But it is what it is.
Yeah, with so many cars retiring, we actually have a pretty mixed top 10 now, with Bruno Cardillet, Tobias Queck, and Dennis Pimenov, who we haven't had that much on the screen. They basically sneaked into the top 10.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and we've got Charcot, who is on Dimov's tail again. So this will get a heated battle, I guess, as they already had a touch, and there will be a little bit more aggression this time, maybe.
Could well be, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I wouldn't. I mean, obviously, the angle we saw of the incident, it was more like a bit of a 50-50 type incident there, but obviously, for better view from the replay, if we look later on, because he's getting an understanding of what actually happened. But no, it's good to see that the battle's still on here again for P3 now. But obviously, with James Parker now not being under pressure now for the last almost 10 minutes of the race, so this could get interesting for P3.
But I think that Dimov has too much damage. He is so much slower than Charcot, which means that he shouldn't be too hard to overtake.
Absolutely, I'll just...
Yeah, I mean, he could almost do it before the corkscrew corner, but he will wait until there's a proper straight. But I don't think that Dimov can defend too well now.
Yeah, I agree, Fabian. I don't know if he's going to make it to the line in this position. He certainly he's given it his all, isn't he? But it appears that there is some sort of damage that is causing the car to be slower. You can visually see it, can't you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, he should have some rear damage, so I guess his car is sliding a bit more now.
Yeah, like I say, he would have taken quite a bit of damage there, because earlier on I was pointing out the damage on this front bumper, so going to be interesting to see what materializes here.
Well, there they are, side by side, coming into turn 2, and yeah, it wasn't really much of a contest. Charcot gets by him and sets sail, just as Fabian said, just a little bit too much damage on the Dimov car to put up too much of a fight. He hung in there, though. Could be on for fourth at this point. You never quite know. Just got to keep it on the road at this point.
Yeah, looking at Malkowski at the moment, 6.4 seconds behind at the moment, so I don't think that'll be enough unless something really drastic happens. I mean, looking at his lap time, 1:24.3 his last lap. Looking at Mikulski, he was actually just under a second faster on the last lap, so I don't think we'd have enough for unless Gallin makes a big mistake or something. I don't think Mikulski will have enough to catch up with Gallin at the moment, so I don't think much is going to change now for the front runners at the moment. So I think that this might be the current P1 to 5 at the moment. I will just jump over to Jada and see where Jada is shortly.
P10 could actually be changed, as Takamaki is just a second behind Pimenov, so there is still a bit of battling going on. To be fair, that might be the only battle, except maybe Jardia coming closer to Mashkovsky, but he's still 2.1 seconds behind him, so now 1.9 seconds.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we'll jump on board with Mike Noah for a bit, as he hasn't had too much screen time now. Do you want to see? He gets a lot, as it is, isn't it? He gets too much. But there we are. There's them on board with Jardia for Mike Noah for a moment. Oh, looks like there is a car span on the corkscrew as well. So this is going to get interesting in a minute as these guys coming up to the corkscrew. So let me just see if I can capture, see if I can get out of the way at the time. So it looks like it has cleared up the corkscrew there. So he just these guys are just lucky then, because there was an incident literally just moments ahead of them at that point. So Mike Noble is doing pretty well still so far, holding P1, which I believe.
Oh, James Parker's in the pits. What's up with James Parker?
What is going on?
Didn't he put enough fuel in, maybe? That would be quite a shame, as he is one of our Redline Motorsport esports driver.
That is, we obviously didn't expect to see that. To see James Parker go into the pits at this moment of time.
Vicky says his brakes are done. So did he try brake pad 1 then? Because brake pad 2 should last way longer. And maybe he risked it with brake pads 1.
He was with pad 1s, yeah, interesting. That is such a shame. So his brakes were cooking. So there we go. Unfortunately, that is that's taken James Parker out of the podium spot then there. So unfortunately, that is this is just for ghosts. It just goes to show. I mean, this happened almost on the 2.4-hour race on Saturday at Spa. For season 2. We had people sort of last-minute pit stops. So it just goes to show, as Mike Noble almost made a mistake there, going wide into the sand.
And you know what? It even gets better, as Jardia is now at the back of Mashkovsky with his beautiful lightsaber on his bonnet, not bonnet,
roof.
On the top of the Mercedes. Yes, the roof.
On the roof. So this is going to get interesting then with these guys as well. So this is what I mean about Jada. He had a pretty good run. I said to you earlier on that, he obviously had a mistake earlier on, lost a few positions, and I said to him, it's quite easy for him to get him back. I've seen him. He has got the pace and consistency to do this, and quite frankly, he's gained those 7 positions back that he, from losing those few positions earlier on. So yeah, just go show it can be done.
I didn't know Jardier was a Sith. I thought he was a Jedi, but here we are nonetheless. A battle for 4th place coming in. What it would have been for 5th, but now is for 4th. And as Simon alluded to earlier, you just never quite know in these races what's going to happen, and that's why you keep doing what you're doing. You always keep your nose down. Is a big moment there for Mikulski, who absolutely misses the corkscrew, and that lets Jardier through into 4th place, and that's why you keep fighting.
Maybe Mashkovsky got surprised because he was told by Jardia that Jardia is his father. And he almost runs into his back. So it looks like that he didn't took the message very well. but there is Jardia now in for a 4th position. So he gained 2 positions in the last 2 laps, with James Parker having to pit, and I think he gave up now. He's 15th position, and doesn't look like that he wants to continue. And so and Jardia managed to overtake Maszkowski, which means that he is P4 now, and he's 3.6 seconds behind Klimov. So I won't jinx it now, but maybe something happens.
Who knows? I mean, this is absolutely epic. So, unfortunately, to seeing James Parker go into the pits after shot breaks there, you know, he's now down to P15 because of that. Is he just going to sit in the pits? Because, yeah, that's going to take a long time, isn't it, to change some brake pads there? So,
yeah, James is in the Twitch chat now, so I don't think that he will continue.
Such a shame.
Yeah, and it's
such a shame to see that.
Maybe James can tell it to us, but I think it takes around a minute to change brake pads. Not too sure.
So that's a lot of time. James, you should have just stuck with it, mate. You know, just get in there and get them changed, and you know, still finish the race. Because now it's down to 20 drivers, unfortunately, after that. You know, I mean, obviously with our 12-hour race, obviously everyone is, but when they sign up to this, you know, they have to.
Oh, excuse me, sorry, Simon. Big drama. A corkscrew for 10th place between Pimenov and Ozzy Takamaki, and it collected a few other drivers in that now. Takamaki now just getting back on the road. Apologies for interrupting, but just 3 or 4 drivers involved in that one. Not quite sure. Maybe you can show the replay of what exactly started
I've got it on.
that.
Yeah, he just drove straight into the back of the Aston there, took him out, and he's come back on the track and spun himself around again. And as he's sort of reversed, he also took the Porsche out as well. So, yeah, big mistake from him there. Obviously cost a lot of time. I mean, if obviously that was in the in our big 12-hour race with the live stewarding and stuff, or even in the championship, obviously that would have been some big points there, maybe even a disqualification from the championship.
We might actually have a battle for P3 now. As Jardia is coming closer and closer, and he's now 1.1 second behind him, and I think he gained around 7 tenths in the last sector alone.
This is absolutely phenomenal.
So I think we will have 1 or 2 laps still left. So this might be enough for Jardia to still come onto into the podium, and you can clearly see how much faster Jardia is now.
This is absolutely crazy. Who would have thought that Jardia would manage to get a podium in the last 24 seconds of the race? Which is just going to be interesting to see if this actually materializes. He's taking the inside lane. It's almost here side by side at the moment.
And they go side by side. Is it enough for Jardia? He doesn't back out. Oh, they touched.
There's contact there. Unfortunately, that wasn't really fair position gain there by Jardia. So, unfortunately, if that was live stewarding, he would be obviously getting a drive-through for that. So, yeah, unfortunately, he has got P3, but that wasn't a very fair overtake.
Crazy as our leader, Mike Noble, all of that taking place. Mike Noble takes the white flag here at Laguna Seca and is on his final lap. Just fantastic. Guys, and one quick thing before we finish this race. I love the details in ACC. Being able to see the hot exhaust pipes just glow in the darkness is just a fantastic touch.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even the sparks and stuff flying off the off it there as well. Yeah, it's pretty awesome to see.
Well, here he comes, ladies and gentlemen, coming around the final turn. Mike Noble, he qualified well, he ran well, and he is going to be your winner today of the 2-hour Laguna Seca Pro Race, and skids out in victory into the long sand trap in turn 1. Fantastic drive.
And the only thing that bothers me about his race is his livery, but that's another story.
I thought you said it was fantastic.
That was sarcastic.
Oh
dear. But no, awesome racing there by Mike Noble there. Absolutely brilliant stuff to take pole there. So yeah, Very well done. I mean, it's a shame about Simard, obviously.
Oh,
having that early pit.
Mashkovsky is back again. 3/10 behind Honzik. What's happening, guys?
I don't think there's going to be enough for an overtake there, so just let us know what's going on. I just want to stay on board with Jakob as he's coming around the final corner to take the finish line.
Oh, he is coming close. He is coming pretty close. Jardia must have some damage.
So Jakob,
is it enough? Does he send it?
Yeah.
Does he lick the stamp?
He doesn't know by the looks of it.
It doesn't look like that it's enough.
So Jardia does take P3. Mikowski takes P4 there. So some great driving there for these guys. Absolutely awesome stuff. So Garland's obviously in the pits. It looks like these guys have already finished the race here. So yeah, some of these guys were obviously a good lap behind. So they've already just finished the race at the moment.
I mean, Mike Noble achieved everything that he wanted today. He won the race, he had a good qualifying, he had a really good race pace, and he had an ugly livery. I guess at one point for one of the endurance races, where he sent me his skin, he said to me, I wanted to create the ugliest livery he can. And I think he got it now.
I don't know, Mike. I don't know, Mike.
His plan,
you might be able to do better. You might be able to make it a little worse. I mean, it's not... My eyes didn't bleed, so... little bit of work left.
Yeah, how could you make it worse?
Absolutely. Well, there we go. So, yeah, absolutely extraordinary race there. Awesome stuff. These guys coming along to take part in that. So we'll just jump over to this for a moment. So this is our poster for the 12 Hours Azuka race. We will go live with the time, with sign-ups and that in the next sort of week or so. We're just finalising things for that. So yeah, that'll be open to up to 50 teams to take part. So that would be pretty awesome in there. Yeah, guys, what did you think of that race?
As usual with these last few races that I commentated on, the last few minutes are always very, very interesting. Especially the last 30 minutes of the battle between James Parker, who was it again? Dimov, and who was the third one? Charcot. That was a good battle, and Matushka and who was it again? Was it Mashkovsky? I think it was Mashkovsky who battled for P4. So that P5 actually, sorry. So that was pretty crazy, and to witness such a crazy outcome of the race in the last few 10 minutes, that was pretty crazy.
Absolutely, yeah, but awesome stuff. So I'm just working out dates. So we're back Monday with the Porsche Cup, isn't it? I believe.
Yes.
Yes, so we've got the Porsche Cup on Monday, and the following Friday is, I believe it's round 8 of season 3. Where are we to round 8? Do you know where we are at the moment?
What championship, sorry?
Of season 2 championship Friday. Where are we off to? So we'll Spa on Saturday. We're obviously back to normal Fridays. No, we're not actually. There's nothing this Friday, is there?
It's
yes,
we are on Nürburgring.
Nürburgring, right, there we go. Sorry, I'm just getting confused again, reading through doing the chats at the time. So yeah, so we've got the Porsche Cup on Monday. We've got Nürburgring round 8 of season 2. So round 8 of 10 of season 2 there next Friday. And that will take us up to the end of February there. And then they said the weekend after that we've got the 8th of March, which will be the 3-hour Bathurst with driver swap. So that, again, that's more of a test race for us, just to make sure everything's all going to run nice and smoothly, ready for our 12-hour race in April. So yeah, still going to be a pretty awesome race there with the driver swaps and stuff. So yeah, 3 hours of Bathurst will be on the 8th of March. And then obviously in between all that we have got lots of other events going on as well. So yeah, Monday Porsche Cup, Friday we've got round 8, and then the 8th, Sunday the 8th of March we've got the 3-hour Bathurst event, and then I said obviously the 18th of April will be the 12-hour race. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for coming on, guys. Really appreciate you all being here. Do take care, and we will see you again very soon. Thank you very much. Good night.